Hello, the following video is a recording of our Artist Feedback AMA session held within MetaJungle Discord on October 28th. This particular session was hosted by Mike Schmidt and Subodh Shetty, both active and experienced photographers in real life and the NFT space. The goal of this session is to help our artists receive honest feedback about their NFT collections. We featured collections from 10 different artists in this space. Some have been active for quite some time and some are just coming into the space. So this should be helpful information for everyone along their journey. We hope that you find this information helpful.
Always great to have you. I don't think I really need to make an introduction at this point. I feel like everyone in this room right now knows Subodh. Let's go live.
Absolutely. We can skip that totally.
Yeah, this time. You guys should be able to see my screen now. I have open Foundation Collection Experiences by Halleck. Let me know if you can see that.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. 1 second. Okay, so you have the questions up by your side. I'll just take a look real quick. So, I usually like to just go off my first impressions when I open something up. First thing I actually noticed was experiences. I wish the E was capitalized. I know that's nitpicking, but it's kind of not, though. I wish the E was capitalized here. I also wish they used this blank space here, because I feel like foundation of all platforms, at least Sloika as well, has the ability to make it look really, really beautiful and make it look like your own. So it's nice to have a nice banner here, a nice little picture for the actual collection. Then I noticed the third thing I noticed, I guess, is just NFTs and activity. There's no description of this collection, and the word experiences is pretty vague, and sort of everything in life is an experience. So with a vague title would be helpful to have a description of the body of work. You agree on those points, Subodh?
Totally, totally with you on all those things. Definitely, I agree. When there is a scope to make it look good, why not make it look good?
Yeah, why not hit every little detail to make it look the best that it can. And so then I come down, and the photos are in here. 3 black and whites, 1 in color. People have different opinions on whether or not you could mix black and white, or should, or whatever, mix black and white and color into the same collection. I think it could be done. I just enjoy more. I think it can be done, but I rarely see it done in a way where I'm like, okay, this all works together. In this specific situation here, I think it could work in this collection, but maybe if there was a more of a mix and it wasn't 90% black and white and 10% color. That's just going off of just looking at it without going into the photographs. Let's open them up. Fishermen. Read this. The fishermen are preparing to go hunting early in the morning. They're going to load the circle-shaped fish nets into their boats, and then they're going to leave. I hope they catch a lot of fish. Their livelihood depends on it. Here's some information on himself, author, and licensing here, which is all really good. The photograph is really beautiful. It has a really dreamy feel to it, like these trees back here. And when I first looked at the photograph, I didn't really notice the other man in the fishing boat here, but I think he's a really important part in this story. And the way this shot was taken, from the foreground, starting in the end here and going in this diagonal direction all the way out to the background, there is a really interesting dimension and sort of way to compose this photograph. How did you analyze the photograph, Subodh?
Yeah, I mean, I think before that, coming to the overall collection with 3 black and white and 1 color, when I think of it, if suppose it's like a drop, like with a gacha, so that you gamify it and one of the collectors randomly gets a color, then there is an intent behind mixing up a color between black and white. Otherwise, I think, yeah, I agree with you. It kind of, I don't understand that part. Like when you're curating, it has to be a curated collection, and having 1 color kind of breaks that whole curation process, in my opinion. So yeah, it's I think it's again up to each person. But personally, if it was my collection, I would always make sure that it looks, like as we always speak, cohesive. They fit together and look like one family. But coming to that picture specifically, I think he's done as you said, you said everything about that composition, which is so beautifully wrapped up. But I also like, one of the common mistakes which happens with photographers do is, that human element. He could be easily colliding with the tree in the background if the photographer was not careful enough. He could be touching the tree and then it becomes like that whole figure to ground going wrong. But in this case, I think it's very well placed. He's placed exactly in the framing between the boat and the trees, him in the sky. So it's really well done. It's beautifully edited as well.
Yeah, it's really well seen that, if he was, just a second, maybe a second earlier or 2 seconds, however fast the boat was moving, his head could have got lost in the darker part of the branches of the tree here, and it wouldn't have been the same photograph. It's crazy how such a small, piece of the photograph can change the photograph, and that's just a testament to not necessarily less is more, but the idea that that just a simple piece can change the outlook of an entire piece, especially if looked at by a trained eye. So definitely think this is a superb photograph. You want to lead off on this one? The next shot, Loving Eyes?
Yeah, for me, when I saw this image, when it was submitted today and I was going through this, it felt too easy, because when you see the first one, it's a very well composed, complicated image where he has put a lot of thought process. But this is something which is very much staged and very much, kind of easy shot. One more thing is it's too tight because both the subjects are in extreme corners, and it just creates that the flow of the image is kind of broken because there's no flow happening because it's so tightly condensed on either side. And in between suppose whatever, even if the background was playing a role, it could be something to add on, but in this case it's just two subjects and they're completely kept in two corners. So I feel it's too easy for his ability, but it's still a beautiful image. uh, it depends who connects with it, and I'm sure there will be people who like such images. But yeah, if it was me, step back and include a little bit of the environment and make them a good amount, not like fully cover the scene, but make them part of the environment and show something more.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I don't really have even much to add to that at all. It's, like you said, the first image shows the artist's complex ability to create a frame that's that's really dynamic, and there's a lot going on, and it's just yeah, it just feels what's the word uh, geez just I guess complex and more I don't know. I'm having a loss of word here, but there are, like you said, this is still a beautiful image, and there is people that will collect this image, but it just doesn't have that dimension that the other shot has, and it just doesn't show the maturity as a photographer. I think, but I do think it's still a beautiful moment. It does feel posed. The other one feels a lot more documentary, and like you said, a little room, and not having them so close to the edge of the frame would be nice. I mean, I would love to even see how this photograph would look, step back a few steps and having a little bit more of the environment. I think it could still be, close enough, but also have that environment. The word I was looking for was actually sophisticated and not complex for that first image. So I did remember that now. So this image concerns. So in the evening after work, the journey home begins. Anxieties and troubles pass through our minds along the way. Tired thoughts reflect on people's faces as well. I definitely feel that with this image. I definitely feel that sort of that feeling of concern, or thinking about the past, maybe not being in the present moment, but being in the mind. is a lot of what I get from this. And that, you know, I see a lot of this on the ferry when I shoot too. There's a lot of people like kind of lost in this, you know, another day of hard work, or another day of this, or exhaustion. And I love the steam on the windows, and all of that as well. I love shots that are, you know, shot through something. They feel a little more painterly, a little more artistic. I like the shot.
Yeah, I would repeat the exact same things because you said everything that has to be said. And even the words which are reflecting, I don't know what they mean, but maybe they have a meaning. I don't know. But overall, those adds nicely to this whole composition because again, there's 1/3 of the image which is completely empty because only a small part is taken by the subject and rest of them is completely something which is empty, but is filled up with all the drama of the water droplets and the words. So yeah, it has a nice little test there. I love this. That's the thing. He can make these kind of images, but the one in the center with the girl and the man, it was too easy compared to what he creates usually.
Completely agree. What's interesting is the words. You could see them as maybe his subconscious thoughts. Maybe could be these words, and the fact that you can't read them make them part of the subconscious. I like the idea in that. But yeah, beautiful frame. And then we need the last image here. This is everything else is capitalized here. Fisherman, loving eyes, concerns. You're missing the capitalization of the actual title of the body of work, and then also this last one, A Life Together. And
yeah, especially with the alphabet A, it's when it starts the thing, it's better to be capitalized, no doubt about that.
Yeah, A actually looks like one of the worst ones. That's not when it's not capitalized. A or I.
Yeah.
Let's see the vowels. So description. So Uncle Hussein and his wife show the beauty of living hand in hand in these wooden houses we visit from time to time. Okay.
I think overall, the effort on description has been quite straightforward, just showing what is there in the scene. Maybe there could be, because Turkish people are good with words, they're poetic, and I'm sure, it's just a matter of translation. Just putting in words in Turkish, telling the story beyond what is visible, and then asking for help with translation and making sure the grammar is right. That effort would be, I think, important in the long run. It's something I think we all need to put effort on. We're all storytellers.
Yeah, I agree. Like I always say in the descriptions, when it's telling us what we kind of can almost already get from the photograph, it's maybe not enough to open the mind's imagination. And you said the Turkish are really good with their words and poetry. There's this one man, Mehmet. I don't know if you know him, but he's when he writes his descriptions in his poetry, I'm just like so blown away by how beautiful it is, and it really lends to his work because you see a photograph, and a photograph tells its own story, and it's his own poetry, but I feel like when he puts his description on there, it like adds another layer to the artwork to create it to be even more beautiful. But I really do enjoy the shot. I enjoy the man in the image, I think, more than the woman, just because he's actually engaged with the with the camera, and there's something that he has a confidence to him that I really enjoy, and I love his style of clothing. Both their styles of clothing are really great, and it's cool that she's almost mirroring the cloth on the table, which is an interesting one here. You could see that the
Yeah.
inside of the wooden homes. Go ahead, Sabot. Yeah.
Now, I was just about to say this could easily turn out to be a black and white, beautiful black and white. If you had to keep a theme of black and white, this could also turn into a black and white because looking at the color and the contrast which is already there, it could work beautifully in black and white. So, yeah, it could have been made to fit into this collection. Though I think all four images, they're not talking to each other as such. Maybe with title of the overall album, something could be connected, but experiences is too lose a word to really build a story with this. So yeah, I think this image could have been a black and white, to make it fit into this, it would look so beautiful altogether. Yeah, that's what I feel about this overall collection.
Yeah, I think the image 1 and image 3 maybe speak to each other more within this collection. That they're sort of about this, because he talks about how the fishermen, they have to catch fish that day because it's their living. They need to. And then you have this other man. He's coming back home on his commute too, and his concerns and I don't know. There's something about those two that feel like they could fit into some of the same storyline here. But I agree. I don't necessarily know how the second one fits into it. And then the third maybe can as well if we're talking about I don't know the wood if the wooden homes are from an area where it's a lower income rural area, and that's the story that's trying to be told through this. And maybe the fishermen are from an area that's a little lower income too. But I don't know if that's the actual intent with some of these. So I don't want to
I
say
mean,
that.
yeah. I mean, even if you exclude that third image and look at the first, second, and the last image, they look like one story, from one particular village with maybe fishermen around and their life. First one is where they go and work. Second one is where there's a bonding between the generations, and the last one being husband, wife. Their homely scene, what happens in the village. We can build that story around those three itself. Now the third one becomes, out of because that's completely urban.
Yeah.
It's from Istanbul, yeah. So it completely looks out of this place. But when you look at three black and white together, okay, we can still make a story around that. But the fourth one looks out now. So that's kind of a conflict happening here overall with the collection.
So there's multiple ways of looking at how to curate this, really. As you stated, a few of them feel very rural, then one feels very urban. The third shot feels very urban, and then the other is a curation through color versus a monochromatic. So, as the artist, I would take a look into this and figure out in your head what type of story do you want to tell about these people. And then you have to lose the images that don't fit that story. Like I tell this story where I sat down with a New York Times photo editor and showing my work, and I had it within the collection, and I thought it was one of the best shots, and she just told me, this doesn't fit the story. She told me put it on your refrigerator, and I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like I didn't think about it like that before. Just because an image is great doesn't mean it fits within that body. So I think and the artist kept it vague with the title of experiences. And when you keep it like that, it almost gives you opportunity to not make it a collection, and to more along the lines make it a set of one of ones. And without a description here, I don't know if you're going in that direction or not. Is the artist here? Maybe the artist can talk on that. If they're here, I don't know though. He is. Haluk is here. If we could unmute Haluk, if he wants to speak about the work and the story that he wants to tell here, or if he wants it to be more of like one of ones. And if not, that's fine too. You could always chat in the open chat there as well. But if not, then I don't necessarily have anything else on this collection. If you don't, Sabode.
Yeah, I mean, overall, basically, if you look at it from a broader perspective, anything can sell in NFT. You don't need a story. They don't have to be cohesive. All that is one side of the story. But I think it's a personal responsibility as an artist. It's your work. How are you going to put it out? Do you want to be a storyteller, or you want to just sell your work? Those two aspects matter. And even in my case, just to give a quick example, the one which I released recently, which is Cosmic Perspective, there I had that issue because there was Milky Way, there was deep space, completely cosmic. It's totally cool. Then there's the moon, which is still completely cool. But the image of the sun, I had a big issue with that, because it's a wildlife image. I was like, will it fit into this collection? I need to make sure I stress enough to say that I'm not presenting a wildlife image. This wildlife image has a sun, and sun is part of cosmos. Sun, moon, stars, and the deep space. That's how I stressed on that story, to make sure that everyone understood as telling a story of cosmic. So that kind of a internal pressure and internal curation is very, very important, I think, when you put it out, because on the long run, we're all gonna, like we all say, we are early here, and what are we trying to present ourselves as, as a guy who wants to sell images or a guy who wants to tell a story with these images. So there was an opportunity here to tightly put them together and make sure that there's a story. Whatever, it could be a fisherman's story, a day in fisherman's life, or whatever. Like there was opportunities here. I think it was just loosely curated.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of ways that you can go about, giving yourself not necessarily a homework assignment or something, but you know, I think a good idea. I mean, I do this is I find collections that I feel have all of the elements that I want in a collection, right? A great banner, a great opening image, great closing image, great curation, great descriptions, properties, and such. And I jot down some of those collections in my notes on my phone, who those people are and what their collections are like. And then outside of that, I have another space on my phone where I have all this stuff about when I make my next collection, what I have to think about and what has to be involved. And so maybe it's best that a lot of artists, it could help a lot of artists to do the same thing, like jot down, hitting all the points on the description, the title, and then writing next to that, like what makes a good title, what makes a good description. You can learn all of that in these AMAs because we talk about it all the time. What makes a great title? What makes a great description? What makes a body of work cohesive and storytelling? What properties do I need that are important? The edition, the artist name, and whatever other licensing and whatever other properties you think are important. So having a list of a bunch of things that you can go back to and hit when you're going out to put a collection could be really, really helpful. It's helped me in being organized in this way. And then also, like I said, having artists that inspire you with the collections that they put out and how well they do. And you'll see a lot of those types of collections sell out because they hit all those moments. I think that's a good idea. Could be helpful.
Yeah. Because even I was just again looking into these images. If you look at the first image, you can see a fisherman's story. During the morning, he goes on fishing. The second image is like during the day, he spends time with his granddaughter, kind of a scene happening there. During the fourth image, it's the evening scene where he comes back home after a hard day of work and he's meeting his wife. They're getting ready for cooking and whatever. The story narration is already there. It's our job to put them together. And then comes the third image, which has nothing to do with this collection, other than being black and white.
It could operate as its own, as a one of one, or broken down into editions that a lot of people would probably collect because it's such a strong image on its own. Cool. I think some really, really good information passed down for this one. I think we can move on to the next collection. It's next collection is, let me just refresh. Sometimes people add photos before I always want to refresh. Beautiful Blue Hour. This is by Aconch Mehta, Mehta. Mehta, I think I'm saying it correctly. Description. It says this collection portrays moody images from the blue hour during winters. Once again with the description, kind of telling us what we're looking at. Probably, I'd rather hear from you about, why the blue hour. What about the blue hour evokes emotion from you? And what is it that compels you to this type of work and these scenes? Next, it shows the artist name. And then it says 1/1-5. And that confuses me. When I saw that, I thought we were going to look at a collection that are 1/1s, and there would be 5 of them, 5 different 1/1s. Instead, we look at a floor price at 0.02, and we only see 2 images. And one of them is sold, and it looks like it is a 1/1 because I don't see I don't see any more except for this one. and it was sold for 0.03 last month to Lisa Hawthorne. If we go back, then we have another image, and there's no information here about whether or not these images are additions or not. I come here, there's no, the only reason I know is because it has this times 15 here. It says times 15 at, go ahead.
Yeah, but Mike, just to, I just went through this. Can you go to the listing part, this image down there?
Say that again?
Listing. Can you go to the listing down there? Just scroll a little bit down. Yeah, I think it's listed once.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the person that buys it's going to get all 15 of the images.
All
That's
15.
no good. Yeah. So I could buy it right now and I would get all 15. So I would, if the artist is in here, I would change that as soon as possible before someone, takes them all for 15. The thing about OpenSea is you have to kind of do this. You have to look up how to put an edition on OpenSea. If you do it just through OpenSea directly, you have to put in this slash special code thing after.
Mike, I think they changed that now. Now it's not required anymore. It's direct now, but it's not. But you have to list it 15 times. It's already an edition. It's already in the region of being an edition because it's already into 15. So that is done. Yeah, now it's only listing 15 times.
Yeah, so this needs to be canceled, this listing, and then you need to list 15 different ones. It's going to ask you how many. I don't know why when it goes to do it, it's going to ask quantity, and then he has to put he has to put one. Because I haven't done an edition like this in a long time, where I do mine on Manifold.
Same here. I have not done it a long time, but I'm sure there will be option to sell, and when you go to sell, it will ask what is the price and how many you want to sell. So that's where I think you need to put one and go ahead and do the listing, go back again, sell, and repeat it again. So over and over again.
Sure. Okay, so before I even look into images like Ray, so I mean, I personally wouldn't want to have a one of one in the same collection as an edition, because your floor price is always going to look extremely low if that's the case. But at the same time, I guess you're saying that this image is worth 15 times more. No, not 15 times, but almost than this image, because you sold this as a one of one for 0.03. Let's see. I do find it to be a compelling moment with the two monkeys, the mother and the baby, or father and the baby. I'm not sure. It is a bit dark. I mean, I think it could you could bring up probably some of the shadows here and maybe a bit of the exposure, so that we can see a little bit more of what's going on. I understand you are trying to create this mood of Blue Hour. I don't know if this is edited to look like Blue Hour or if it actually is Blue Hour, and that's something that I struggle with. I do like this one a lot more. This is a really, really beautiful image. I think once again, maybe it's a little dark. Maybe it's just dark on my screen, but it's a very cinematic, and it's a beautiful moment of them in the yellow boat with the blue and the birds happening here. So as far as the photographs go, Sabo, do you have anything on the photographs? Is this image more compelling to you? Go on.
Yeah, two things. One is something that we always discuss, which is the crop ratio. If I think, it's up to again the personal choice of a photographer, but it's always, I know you're trying to do a cinematic image here, and that gives the 16:9 aspect ratio is always moves towards the cinematic side. But still, I think I don't know, in the future when the screens develop for NFTs and etc. The original aspect ratio will be one of those which will be always most photographers sell in original aspect ratio. So I think better to always stick to that, because it would not take away from the image. It would still look good. You just add some more expanse maybe on the top and stick to the original crop ratio. So that's one thing. And secondly, with this blue toned images, one of the common mistakes I see is, you tend to edit it so much that you forget about the white balance issue of the image. Because if whenever you do these things, it's always a good thing to come back to that image, use that picker, white balance picker, put it on a white, subject in the image, and try to keep white, and then keep doing everything else around it could be blue. It doesn't matter because you're trying to create that mood. At the same time, you have to keep an eye on the white, because if you look at that image, the previous one with the birds, the guy is wearing a shirt, the birds are flying in the scene. There's a lot of whites happening there. The birds are supposed to be white. But once you put overall universal blue tone on the image, even the birds go blue, the shirt that he's wearing also has gone blue. So yeah, a little bit of caution as you bring that mood would be nice, to keep the whites as whites and then bring the mood around it. It keeps it more natural to view.
Yellow boat goes blue. Yellow boat goes blue too. Like you're saying, if the white balance was corrected for this, then the yellow boat would pop more, the birds would pop more, and it would feel a little bit more true to life in its own regard. And I definitely agree with that. That's a good point.
Yeah, because see, when you look at these New York images of I don't know the photographer's name, he's quite popular. I am sure you know him. So he does all this, amazing shots of New York City and etc. He tries to bring that Batman kind of look. He's making it all orangish tone. At the same time, there are windows, and windows have light, and there are streets. Streets have lights. Maybe blue neon in the street. He makes sure that all those real colors stay real. At the same time, the overall mood of the image can go anywhere you want. It can be blue, it can be orange, but those true tones remain true tones, and that's part of white balance. Keeping an eye on those whites. Wherever you find a white, just put that picker on that and correct the white balance and further edit and take it further, one step at a time.
It's a really great point, and that's something that I'm going to even look further into in my own work.
Because I made that, and that's why I say it. Because sometimes we all do that. I was editing my leopard image, and I was trying to create that drama in the image, and I was editing without even thinking of white balance. Because on that day, sometimes we edit so much and spend so much of time, we completely ignore this part. And at the end, when I edited, I exported it. It came to my phone. It looked great. Next day when I saw it, I'm like, why is the chest of the leopard has white, and that white had become orange because I've edited it so much that I forgot about the whites. Then I went back, did the correction, kept the chest white, and everything around it still remained the tone that I wanted it to be. So yeah, that's something we all kind of overlook at times.
Yeah, it's a really great point in color temperature and color balance, and how they can affect the overall look of an image. How we were talking about little things before about in the fisherman shot about the man's head not coming into contact with the actual tree's branch, because just something as simple as that can change the whole look of an image. This is in the same regard for white balance, that just the chest of that leopard or cheetah or wherever you were saying being a different color than true to life, just changing that area probably created a whole new mood or realism to that image. And so it's just like this little things that can do so much that we need to pay attention to as artists. So.
And Mike, can we just look at the description? Is there artist name? I think there's no artist name in the image itself.
In this image itself, Birdscape is a blissful collaboration between winters and seagulls. Shot this last year at a very famous place in Delhi, India. The NFT show us that how birds can make the whole scene look cinematically awesome. The place is known as Yamuna Ghat. Is that how you say it? In winters, it is known. Cool. It is known as Photographers Hub, as many photographers come here to experience the extreme beauty of nature. When I visited here for the first time, I was so mesmerized to see the whole view and the sound of flying seagulls. I was lucky to get a great shot at the very first time I visited this place. Clicked this image in harsh winter morning before the sunrise. artist. He has the artist name, and it says 15 of 15 edition, which he has to
What about
correct.
license? No license?
There's no license in the actual description, and there's no license in the properties either. I tend to put my license in both the description and the properties, possibly being even more important in the properties, as it seems to be the new metadata for Web3.
Right. And also, if you go to
Mhm.
the overall collection, I observed the what do you say? The royalties. I think it's set at 0%. So I think there's no reason for us to go to zero. This I can't think of one reason why it should be zero.
No, 10% seems like the norm for many photographers. I'm set at 10%. Why would you want people to be able to resell your images until the end of time, until the day you die, if the blockchain is around, and never receive any royalties? Royalties is something that um, we are truly lucky to have with Web3. I mean, if you think about um, musicians and all sorts of other artists that have really been screwed on their royalties, and a lot of that's been taken away from agents and third parties. With the opportunity that we have to get royalties on, you definitely need to go in there and change those royalties, and get your 10% or whatever the royalty you believe you deserve. That was a
Yeah.
really good find. That's a great find.
And now that this image, which is there as edition, anyway, it needs correction. It is not sold. I think it's a good time for Aconch to completely get rid of this image from this collection, create a new collection, because one of one and edition together is not a right idea. So start a fresh collection, put that image into that. If you want to do the color correction and look into all those things, do those things, and then 15, and then list it 15 times, and also add royalty of 10%.
Exactly, perfectly said. And also, I mean, these two photographs, they don't really feel like they fit together cohesively anyway. So the only thing that ties them together is these heavy blues. And it's like when I talk about collections that are black and white, just because it's all black and white doesn't mean that it fits the same story. I think Birdscape, the first image, is really beautiful, and I think if you do that color correction, like Sabode said, and relist this and remarket this as it's as an edition, it's 15, which is really great. Your idea on pricing at 0.02 and limiting it and keeping it scarce at 15, I think these will move. If you do that color correcting, it's a beautiful, beautiful shot. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What happened was, I remember Akansh came to a space of ours. At that point, the image of the birds was a one of one. And we all advised him that why don't you, because it is listed at 0.02 or 0.03 as a one of one. We gave him a feedback that it's a beautiful image. Why don't you just make it more worth it? Like make it 15 editions. I think at that point, he took a call and made it editions, but he put it into the same collection. I think that's what needs to change. It needs to go into a new collection and start fresh and get started with the whole process.
Well, Akash is here, so if we wanted to unmute him, if you wanted to add anything to what we talked about, if he got anything from the feedback, and you know, and if he's going to change his creator royalty fees, I think that's definitely something he should do. I'd love to hear from the artist,
One thing
if
I want to
possible.
say is, the title on top, which is Beautiful Blue Heart, it's too basic. It's just a normal font. Even the overall presentation of the poster work is quite easy. Maybe you could put some thought into that as well. You can look at Mike's, or there are so many wonderful poster works around. So just to add that touch of artistic being.
Yeah, absolutely. But if he's not willing to come up, that's fine as well. I think we've gone over a lot on this one, and I think you picked up some really good points. I'm really happy that you saw that royalty. I have to start looking over here more often, make sure everybody's giving themselves their royalties. But yeah, with that being said, I think we can move on to the next collection. You know what though? We aren't looking. Are we looking at the questions? Can you look at the questions for this this
Oh yeah.
collection?
Let me just check. Let me just check
Yeah,
that.
actually, go
Give
use
me
the
a second.
yeah. Let me use the restroom real quick. Right back.
Sure. Yeah, the question is there anything wrong in writing descriptions under my recent NFT which is for sale? Second question is which things seems wrong to you in my collection? I think both these questions were answered. Akansh, we already said that take this to a new collection. Don't just put it in between a one of one. Make a new collection and put this as a new edition. Maybe call it, you can call it whatever collection, and then make a new poster with the same image. Put it on top and make the same image as the profile picture. As per your wish, make a whole new collection. Put this image in, maybe with color correction. Maybe if you want to also consider the crop, if you want to take it to original crop ratio, you could even do that, and then do the listing 15 times and make sure you add your royalties. I think these are all the few mistakes with this collection.
Yeah, I'm
And
back.
even the
So
description, yeah, no problem. Also, the description you could work. The one-line description which you gave is very straightforward. Maybe tell what you feel. When you take these images, that's what we are trying to convey with our images. So don't tell what's there. Tell what you feel. That's something
but
only you know. No one else can know.
also, what is this one of one dash five? Do you know what that
Yeah,
is, Sabod? I don't. It's confusing.
maybe I have no idea. But if I had to make a guess, maybe he had a plan to add 5 images, 5 one-of-ones to this collection, out of which one is sold now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, so it seems like it went in a different direction. So definitely, you probably have to remove that for now, unless you're going to take away this addition piece, and then make this a one of one collection of five. Cool. Was that all the questions?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's mainly about what's wrong with the collection and descriptions. I think we have covered all that.
Cool. And the one before that was Halleck. He actually didn't put any questions
He
through
had
though.
no questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So the next collection is Beautiful People of the World, and this collection is by Tulsi Shankar Kumpar. And so let's read the artist statement here. Life is a story. Sadness, happiness, pain, and problems are written on every page of life. And reading the pen of life in the picture is also an art. I want to share about these beautiful people in the world in my collection for whom we get grains. Uh, we do not die of hunger, and despite being very beautiful, good facilities are not being provided for their houses. After facing sorrows and troubles in life, yet living happily. That's why I want to donate 30% of my earnings from NFT to help the poor. My series and my photographs are special because most of them are taken in such remote areas where there is a scarcity of journalists and photographers. And there are places where very few can reach. That is why my picture is not random pictures, but some unique ones. There is unique because of the nature and as well as the locations taken on. These locations are in very remote places. So you notice you said twice there. You spoke about it being a remote location. So I don't think you have to say it at the end again there. Um, otherwise, I kind of get what you're saying about this. It's an area where there's not a lot of photographers and journalists. These people, they have a story, and they don't have much, and you're trying to help them with the story, but also by donating from your NFT sales. Looking at the creator fee, artist does have their 10% royalties. That's very good to see. It's cool to get this information on OpenSea now. Created July 2022, so July, August, September, October, November, about 4 months ago, give or take. Uh, Floor price of 0.12, no sales, 0.12 across the board. Um, so this seems similar to the feedback that I that you and I had given yesterday to one of the portrait
The lead,
photographers. Yeah, on light, right? So when I look at this, I'm drawn first to actually this image here, where it feels like the light in the you have a really good lighting, like maybe you're indoors, but you got this this catch light in the eyes here, where you can even see the photographer. It's beautiful. I love when the eyes pop like that, because I think the eyes say so much, and you have a nice contrast and stuff here. In some of the other shots, though, it feels like we lose that life in the eyes, and I think it has a lot to do with like lighting. But I think local adjustments could probably still be made to bring them out some. And there's a bit of an inconsistency in the portraits and the compositions of the portraits that feels a bit off. I mean, the strength of happiness, incandescent, pain, sorrow, pain shows the way of life. They feel very similar in the way they're composed. And then hope with happiness and innocent eyes with the children feels like you give them a lot more room to breathe, and almost the room that Sabode was talking about with imagining the imaginary apple on a head, and it being about that much room. And that's the first time I actually heard that. And it's usually the amount of room that I give when I do portraits, but I never thought about the apple on the head thing. It's interesting, Sabode.
Sorry, I was drinking Coke. So, Mike, if you can go up to the banner first.
Go up to the
yes. Yeah. First of all, that itself needs kind of a touch up, because you're trying to present people, so you can't just chop them off like that. Even if the image is whatever the image is, you can always expand it in a poster and make sure that if you put a horizontal line across the board of this poster and make sure all the eyes are aligned, so that itself will create a nice little balance in the poster work. So that could be done. Okay, now it's much visible. Okay, but still, I would push it up. Yeah.
So I am. So I'm pressing plus and minus on my OpenSea. So I don't know
Maybe
if it's
now it's better. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because of how I had OpenSea open, but yeah, now it looks better. But I don't know that this is how OpenSea is supposed to be presented. Is the text ever usually this big?
That will be interesting to see in my laptop.
I don't know if because I don't know what the standard is, since I've already played around with my keyboard zooming in and out. The standard, when people open it up on their OpenSea, if the standard looks like this, then that's a problem, right? If the standard looks, something more like this, then it's looking good.
Yeah, but also one more, right thing done here is the amount of information to prove that he's an actual person. Like if you look at the side, like website, there's Discord, there's Telegram, there's Instagram, there's Twitter. So all the things have been put to use to prove that if someone has a doubt, because there's so many people doing so many things, here it just authenticates the photographer. I think that's beautifully done. All the options are used properly. And now coming back to the images, I would agree with Mike. Those two images of the kids just don't fit into this collection. It's very easy, it's very random, like you just met them and you took a shot kind of a thing. In others, you are controlled. You made them sit in a place, you made sure that you composed it tight, you got the perfect light on them, which is really, really cool. I like all the three elderly person overall, they look like one family of images. So, but these two kids, they look absolutely out of place when it comes to this collection. And it's very easy at the same time, it's just like shooting right where you found them without thinking about the background. So, yeah, in the first three elderly images, it looks more like you really put them in a place where they look royal, they look very like you showed them the respect that they deserve. But in the kids image, it's more like shining on the other side of the story, showing the poverty or showing the hardships and etc. If it's a documentary work, it's totally understandable. But when you have a collection mixed up like this, it gives a mixed feeling. It doesn't talk one language, is what I feel. Those two images could have been avoided. And if you go to the Mike, if you can scroll to the top, please, once again. There was another image in the banner, the last one. It's such a perfect image of an elderly guy. I don't know whether it's somewhere else or minted, I don't know. But if you have more images of that kind, I would use them and make it a full family of 5 elders. They all look similarly composed, like Lee Jeffries style, and make it a very very strong collection rather than using two, which are the loose ends.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, Subodh. That the gentleman feel like he gave them he portrayed them in a way that makes them feel royal in a sense, even though they're what he's saying is that they're from poor community. They still feel very important, almost like kings in their own regard. And juxtaposed with the children who do feel like they were portrayed as the poor children from where they're from. So I thought that was really good that you saw it that way, and it's a really really great point. Um,
Yeah,
what
because like yesterday I was saying, every time I lift a camera to shoot a person, I'm not a documentary guy. I'm not trying to show poverty of my country. I'm trying to show, even in poverty, how people can look very, very royal. And that's exactly my approach to every single shot I take as a portrait. And that's exactly what he has done with the three elders. They look really, really rich, and they have that smile in their eye, which is so beautiful. But when it comes to these two kids, that whole narrative is now gone. So we get confused as to what are you trying to communicate with this collection. Are you trying to show the richness in poverty, or you're just trying to also show the poverty side of the whole thing? And the title of the collection is Beautiful People of the World, so your intention is to show them in a beautiful way, but those two images don't communicate that.
I agree. I feel like I would be proud to turn around the camera and show it to the men. And I think that they would see the photograph and see themselves and say, wow, and see themselves in a wonderful light. Where if you turned it around on the kids, I don't know that they would have the same reaction here. So I think that's so well stated and so well seen. A really good point. One thing I noticed is that if you click on an image, right, it says it's owned by beautiful people of the world. I think it should say that it's owned by, is it Tulsi? Hold on. Yeah, Tulsi
Tulsi, yeah.
Shankar Kumar. Yeah, so um, is that I don't know if that's an oversight. If you click on that, no, this is their name for their OpenSea. I think you're
Can you
doing
just
yourself
check
a
the
go
wallet
ahead.
name? If you can check the name of the wallet on the corner in the three buttons at the end, on the extreme end, after the Twitter thing. Yeah, the
Okay.
three dots down there. Yeah, they. Oh, it doesn't show that. Okay,
It says
where does it
report.
show the wallet address?
The
Ah,
wallet address is right here, underneath
okay, he
beautiful people
doesn't
of the
have a
world.
ETH name. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so no ETH movement. So it's how I guess the only way you would really know the artist name, you'd have to leave OpenSea and go to the website, Instagram, or Twitter.
But can we just
So
check another OpenSea next to this, some other collection? How does it? It confused me actually. If you can go to some others OpenSea in the list on the top in
oh,
the tabs,
here's that shot. This is another created collection.
that
There's the
will be
shot.
addition.
This is
That's an
addition.
addition.
So he used it as an addition, but it would have fit really well in that other collection. Well, did it sell as an addition? Two owners, so yeah, Sunaj owns one of them. There's 20 editions. Uh, I mean, if you can get that image
Yeah, the
back
name
from
is beautiful. Name
Sunaj,
itself is yeah. Name itself is beautiful people of the world. So this name, artist name as such, it's gone to the. I think the overall name itself is the collection name. Because if you see the owners down here in the listing, you'll see all beautiful people of the world.
yeah, you can see that here. Beautiful People of the World is one of the owners. Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
I would definitely have my name as my OpenSea name as my artist name for sure. That's something that I would correct. What are the questions that the artist has that you have there?
Let me just check 1 second. Okay, the questions are: in this collection, I want to represent the pan life of those people of the world. Sorry, I'll repeat it again. In this collection, I want to represent the pan of life of those beautiful people of the world and share it through my storytelling and my photographs. I want to work on this project for a long term, and I would like to know the mistakes which I do here so that I can correct it to get some sales and donate 30% of my sales to those people. Also, I want to know what should I change.
I think we covered the questions. So those are the only questions.
Yeah, yeah,
Anything?
that's the
Anything?
only questions. I think,
I don't know.
yeah.
I think the artist is here. I mean, Tulsi, Tulsi is here. So I haven't been paying attention to the open chat. There's an open chat here. Okay, cool. Stunning shot. Tulsi, hello, Simone and Mike. They are in another collection as multiple shots. I don't know if you wanted to speak at all, Tulsi, and so we can get some information back from you on what maybe you took from the feedback, and what you might change. If you can unmute him.
Can they unmute, or someone else has to unmute? How does Discord work?
I don't know, Jaden, if you have to unmute or not. You should be unmuted if you'd like to speak. Jaden said. So yeah, it's up to them. They want to unmute themselves. So if he'd like to speak, then he could unmute.
Or they can unmute
Uh,
themselves.
yeah. So okay, we'll see. It's not, you don't have to. But it'd be nice to hear from you, and maybe why you chose to use
So
the.
yeah,
Sorry.
my only overall feedback would be, first of all, there's two kids. You could think of changing their image into something else. I'm sure you have a whole portfolio of people shown in a very rich manner, like you have already done. So maybe you could replace them with these wonderful gentlemen. So I think that would be, nice way to build this whole portfolio because they look like one big family. And I don't know whether you can change your name of the overall OpenSea so that it tells your name. Who owns the image? You own the image, not the collection.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Simone. Okay. Yeah. With that, we can move on to the next one, which is actually an addition. Um, and this edition, it's called.
But Mike, if
Yeah.
you can check his image and see whether the artist name, copyrights, and etc. are there in the image. No, in the image, in the description.
Oh, yes. I think he has it in the. Yeah, he has it in the properties, and he has it in
He's got everything.
description. He's got the description and all that as well. Yep. So that looks good. He's got the addition in there also, and the licensing. So
yeah,
he's hit all those marks, which is really good.
Yeah, in terms of pricing and everything, I think it's in a right place. It's very approachable, and I think there's nothing else apart from just curating it strongly and having a complete, clear intent on the collection as it builds it.
I agree. Great. So yeah, I guess with that we can move on. If Tulsi wants to jump in at any point, you can. The next is an actual. This is an edition. It's called Smokey. It's by Sir Takner Tan. And let's read the artist statement here. So it's got 10 editions. Traditional camel wrestling brings together a large audience in Izmir, Selçuk. This organization is considered the Champions League of Camel Wrestling. Spectators gather here for this organization. Long tables are set, meat is barbecued, chatted, longing is relieved. Chatted, longing is relieved. The smoke coming out of the barbecue adds a wonderful atmosphere to the environment. So when I look at the image, which I really do like, I really do enjoy, I don't know any story about camels in this image. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how the description really lends to this, other than about what they do when there's a camel wrestling is that they all do barbecue. It looks like a lot of men, and I'm not sure if any women come to this or if it's just kind of like the guy's day out. But it is a beautiful shot. The subject to me appears to be this man with the hat here, and then this other giant man who are walking through, and then my eyes kind of then just move all throughout the image. A man smoking a cigarette here, another man with an interesting hat. There's just a lot of interesting things going on here, and I wonder when I see the image, which I really do like, where is the other documentary work around what happens with traditional camel wrestling that I'm now interested in seeing? What are your thoughts on that, Stabode?
Sorry, I was just Googling something. I was wondering, maybe you are an English native. So is it Smokey with acetate or it's a Smokey with the EY? Just Smokey.
Smokey should be with EY in English. I don't know. This would be Smoky, but I think it's meant to be Smokey. I don't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe there's a typo. I was not sure, so I was Googling it. So yeah, before that I came back to the Discord. Maybe he could check that out because it's not still sold. Just in case if it's a typo, he can correct that. And coming to the image, I love it. Sometimes it's okay. Like I shoot camel festivals in India, and most often there are shots where we take portraits. For instance, we just say that they're camel herders. There's no camel around them, but still we say they are camel herders because that's the story of that image. So I think in that sense, you can get away with this. And there's a story, it's barbecue and smoke. So it adds to that whole situation of what's going on there. I really like the overall description, and I like image is really top class. And as you said, the guy in the hat is the anchor of this image. You just can't take your eyes off him. I'm truly surprised it's not sold because this image is so good.
Yeah, there's so many layers to the image. And like he says in the description, the smoke from the barbecue adds just so much atmosphere to it as well. It's got an edition of 10 of 10, and yep, it looks like they're all listed. Yeah, so this is how it looks. Go ahead.
It's been 4 months. I know. I really wish to see his Twitter right now. What's going on in Twitter? Why is it not selling? It's such a beautiful image.
Well, his Twitter is not he's not listed here. He should list his Twitter here. Yeah. But I can find his Twitter. That's no problem. Because I have it. I had all the artist names listed. So let's go to Twitter. Original post. Here we go. This is
down.
Oh, yeah, down I see it. Yeah, I see it. So it's a small following, 352. Let's see. So what he has right now is a pinned tweet since September. Is one of one Miners Lunch. You can take a look through media. Let's take a look through media. Viva Cuba, one of one. He has an OpenSea collection where he has a one of one there. He has an edition of 31 on Tezos for Halloween, which is not a photograph. It's looks, I don't know. It looks
AI.
Maybe AI. How about exploring the streets, Cuba in black and white? Just showing some images. Hello, one of one edition. So, I mean, I see a lot of posting of photographs and just saying hello, one of one edition, but
Yeah.
no real descriptions or anything like that, which I think is really helpful. Viva Cuba, that's a beautiful shot. I know I've seen this shot before. I know it's in a collection somewhere. Also, no, he's got the link to the collection. Um, oh,
But
this
if
is
you
in
can
an
go to
art.
his overall
Yeah,
social media interaction, like not the media, but the actual Twitter, like
yeah, sure.
interactions.
So retweeting of other artists, a lot of that. Retweeting of Sabots. I'll retweet this. This is timeless. I have one of these.
Yeah, I mean, there is interaction, but I think the overall, sometimes the connection between the community is what makes this, what is it, the edition sell. So I think, I don't know, because this is actually the first time I'm seeing this person's profile. I never heard of his profile. Sometimes Twitter has that habit of playing with algorithm and not showing you anyone who doesn't interact much. So maybe that lack of interaction is maybe the reason why it's not sold. Because when I see that image, there's no excuse for it to not sell. It's such a stunning image. That's why I got surprised as to what's going on. And this is the first time I saw the image. I never knew about this image. So definitely there is some lack of algorithm training. His photographs
Yeah,
all are stunning. He's a very good
yeah,
photographer.
yeah. Great black and white, right? Street moments and it's created. So many collections are created. There's only 3 collections, so they're not. It's not over minting. A lot of people do over minting. This is not Viva Cuba 8 items. Uh, there's two. They does have 2 owners. Oh,
Actually,
this is
3 years old. Okay.
Alpha. I know Alpha Trilogy owns this one.
Oh, okay.
I think he owns this one too. My memory serves me right. Yeah, he
Oh,
owns
yeah.
it, and he definitely owns this one. I know that. Yep, he owns Peace Doves. Street Match. I don't know. That's Leslie Spurlock.
So
Interesting.
he's
So
had
yeah,
a good
so
start, with Alpha
yeah.
and Leslie and everyone. There was a start. Why is the
hmm
fizz gone? That's the main question.
Well, this is April of 2022. Um, if we sort by oldest, you can see when this was minted. Um, 6 months. So I mean, it's an older collection. It was minted 6 months ago. Um, don't part of it is keeping the story alive. Part of it is keeping the story of the collection alive. That's something that I definitely don't see the artist doing on their this particular artist doing on their Twitter. Many artists is keeping the story alive and talking about it. Um, grabbing a couple of pieces from here and talking about what it was like to be in Cuba, um, why you chose to shoot monochromatic instead of color when most photographers, or probably 98% of photographers that go to Cuba, they choose color because the colors of Cuba are really stand out. I enjoy that they picked black and white, but um, I think that's the kind of stuff that collectors want to hear. They want to know. They want to hear the story of the work. They want to hear from you. So I think if the artist did more of that, to bring some of these back to life, these collections. This is another editions collection, Road to Freedom editions. Um, this one does have any sales on this? 10 owned by the artist. So it's definitely a marketing slash building relationships and engaging with the community type thing. Because this is another beautiful shot. It's like this motorcycle
Yeah,
and man
see,
with right. You know,
one thing I can say is, MetaJungle has this wonderful space every Monday just to share your work. And we see a lot of magic happening in those spaces. People sell a lot. So I never seen this so far. So I think there is that lack of being around. That really plays a huge role. We can't deny that. Even if you have a language barrier, there are always people ready to help. There are so many Turkish photographers who come up and help translating. So, when you consider, when you are part of MetaJungle and you know that it's a nice place to be, every Monday, even if not every day, even if every Monday you show up, and if you're shown this work which deserves to sell, it could have been gone by now, honestly speaking. So I think that effort is required, in my opinion. I don't know the situation. Maybe he can tell us exactly why he can't come on spaces and etc. But I think that effort will get more eyes on it. This
He is
image
here.
has to go.
He is here. Yeah, he is here also. Maybe he can unmute and we can talk a bit. So, yeah, if you could hear me, Stotak, you can unmute. And if you wanted to talk a little bit about the discussion that we're having and, if some things that you can do to get your work in the eyes of more people, is like Sabot is saying, definitely join that space on Monday. That's a great space, and I think posting images, but using all the characters that you can in the tweet to really talk about your work and why you love doing it. Could be a great idea. Other than that, what was the questions that was asked by
Let me just check that. Smokey. So, first question is directly to you. Do you like barbecues?
Well, I don't eat meat, but I do like a good barbecue. I like corn on the barbecue, and veggie burgers at the moment. But
You don't eat?
no, I don't. Well, I mean, I was vegan for about 2 years, and then I had a job where I was driving around the city in a truck for 12 hours a day, and so I started eating pizza. So I was no longer vegan, and then I added into my diet more recently fish because I just I love sushi too much, and I love salmon and halibut and these wonderful crab and fish. So I eat fish, but that's not much at a barbecue. But I love barbecues. I love the festive, nature to it. People come around and love the smells, and people are having a good time. Reminds me of summer. It reminds me of my childhood. I do. What about you?
I would say, yeah, I'm in the same boat, but I'm not a vegan. I eat chicken and mutton, and sometimes I used to eat beef, but no more. So yeah, we all like barbecue. But what I like is that question. Like, despite he could have been bitter that his work is not selling and this and that, but he's being funny right now. He has that humor which is still holding on to, which is this is our attitude. I think you just need to come to the spaces. He's all because your work should sell. I know it will sell. So just come to
Very
the
good.
space.
Yeah, I like the question too. When I was reading it in the spreadsheet, I started laughing. So forgot that he asked that one.
Yeah.
Was that it? Just do you like barbecue? Someone's
And
ringing
just
my
the opinion.
doorbell. Hold on.
Sure.
Maybe you can get the next question.
Sure. Other question is just about the work, the feedback on the work. I think we already talked about it. Your work is incredible. You are a great photographer. So don't let the bear market get to you. Just come on spaces. That's my easy solution. I'm sure we can get this sold. So let's make it happen. I don't know whether he understands English. So even if you don't, just come to space. I am sure you can understand the word space. So come to space and we'll get a translator and get this sold.
I'm back. Amazon deliveries. What was it? What did I miss there?
No, the second question was about the work, feedback on the work. I think that we already discussed, which is nothing but fantastic.
Perfect. Okay, great. Awesome. So yeah, I think come join in the space on Monday, and that's a great start. And if you don't have anything else, I think we can move on to the next artist.
Sure, let's move on.
Cool. The next artist, the next collection is Abstract Nature Collection by Privin Sathi, and he took some really great feedback last time, and minimized his rooster feather collection to something really beautiful. But now he mixed the rooster feather collection with the lightning collection, and that for me was taking a step backwards, even further than before, because now it's definitely two collections that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, unless you want to consider that that lightning storms are abstract, but still don't relate to Rooster to me. But I mean, I love all the images. It's just I've never actually seen this done before. Have you, Subodh?
I would agree with you. You know, even when I went through this, first of all, I was happy that it's condensed. It's like last time it was so many, I think 30 images or something. So it's come down to the best of the best, which is fantastic. You know, not many people have done these kind of shots of feathers in such a close up and with such great colors. I think right there, you know, you have a unique thing which no one else has done. So with photography, it's fantastic. You know, it's something I haven't seen much in this space. So you have that as your superpower. But mixing it up with lightning, I don't really get that. You know, you could call it abstracts of nature, but still, it could sit in a different collection altogether. And also, one more thing that could be done. Yeah, I know you have come recently to NFT, I guess, to create the buzz. You know, same thing would repeat. Come to spaces as much as possible. Make yourself visible, and as you do that, release a edition. You know, make some people talk about your work, all the retweets, all the collects, which happens with editions. These lightning images are always attractive. They will be, they're easy to consume. You know, choose your best and take one lightning as an edition, get the buzz, and meanwhile, you can start pushing your feathers. And I think that would be a better idea than mixing them up in one collection and making it a huge mix up. And also, I just want to see the royalties. Maybe he had zero. I'm not so sure.
No, he has
No, it's
10%.
10%.
He's good on the royalties.
Yeah. And
And I think,
descriptions, if you can quickly see that.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, the description is rooster feathers. Every rooster has unique feather patterns. That pattern not showing directly. The feather patterns reflect multiple colors based on light. That is a different angle and different light settings. All these images are taken from my rooster farm. Lightning. I have 4 years of experience in lightning photography. This is where it's a different collection, right? Because you have like now it's like a new artist statement. I have 4 years of
Yeah.
experience in lightning photography. Lightning is completely abstracted. So I focus to capture lightning photos. I mean, I don't know if I would call lightning abstracted, but I do think it's nature creating its own art. But the way that you capture it is also going to be different from how someone else captures it. Editions are one of one. Here's the year and everything. You know, one thing I will say about is it Priven is that he's good at the at putting all of the properties and stuff in here. He's got the edition. Um, he's got the licensing. He's got his artist name. He's got other information that's cool. 13-second exposure time. That's cool for someone like me because I wouldn't know how long to expose for something like this. I guess you keep the lens open longer so that when the lightning hits, you don't have to like press the shutter. So I tried to capture lightning before, and I was like, I can't do this. I was clicking down on the shutter, and I was like, oh, I missed it. I guess you just keep the lens open. He's really good at doing that and adding all that information in there. Just you know, his biggest thing is his curation, understanding how to curate a story. And with the feathers, I was so happy when I saw that that Priven like knew which were the best feather shots and minimized it down so that we could just have our eyes like you know, have look at all the eye candy of the beautiful feathers. But then I just I just don't I don't understand the mixing of the lightning. And so, you know, and this is so easily fixable by because, you know, OpenSea is OpenSea is very simple because it's lazy minting. So you can just remove the Lightning ones and create a Lightning collection after this Rooster collection sells out. Because if you're having a hard time selling one Rooster photo, why would you give yourself more work by having to market another collection? If anything, maybe like Subodh said, an edition of the best Lightning photo, which is maybe there's a few here that I really enjoy. Like, Lightning number 6 is pretty cool. This one is wild. It might be the most unique Lightning one of all of these, with the clouds and the bursting all throughout. Maybe that's the addition, or the other one I enjoyed was this one here. Although it's a lot of the focus is on the right hand side, but so I think it would be number 6 from, I believe it's number 6. Could work as a number 2. I'm sorry, could work as an addition. While maybe that's where you get your first sales, as an addition instead of 0.15 ETH, which a lot of people aren't spending exactly. Most people aren't really spending that right now. A lot of people will spend 0.02 on an addition of, I don't know, 10 to 15 or something. So maybe you can get your first sales through a Lightning piece. And then, maybe that brings more attention to you as an artist through your Rooster collection. But it's definitely hard in the same collection. I don't think it fits. It looks like he changed his banner up here, and it has both. And what questions did Pravin have for us?
Yeah, let me just check that. Give me a second. Praveen. Oh, okay, here it is. I noticed and updated Mike, Subodh, and Arvind's comments. Please verify one more time and give me feedback. I think we already spoke of that. Next thing is, I added new photos to my collection. Please give me feedback for this process. Is it correct, or if any changes are required? So I think that's exactly what you're speaking about. So it has to be 2 collections. It looks hurried. You're in a hurry to put everything out. So take it easy. Just come with the feathers, a clean collection, one big family. And once it starts moving, you can come back to the Lightning. And also Lightning, as we already said, could be one of the strongest image, could become a addition, so that you can get the initial buzz, so that you can get started. And spaces, of course, come to spaces.
Yep, come to Subodh Spaces. They're really easy to talk in the spaces there. Makes it very inviting and welcoming place, and he asks the right questions. So I know the one thing about myself when I first went into my first spaces, and I had to talk about my work. I was very confused where to start and very nervous. But with a good host who can talk a little bit about your work first and then ask you questions about it, it's very comes a lot easier to engage like that when someone's asking you questions, rather than thinking you have to have something rehearsed. So, definitely come to Spaces. It'd be great to have you there. Anything else about
if nothing else, just the meta. Yeah, if nothing else, just the MetaJungle space on Monday, just to show yourself and show your work, and just to get that visibility. I think that alone is enough. We don't know which position who is in. Maybe you can't come every single day. So at least that one day, if you just dedicate that time to come up and talk like you did for the first time when we saw you. So that alone will give the traction, and you never know who's going to be in the space and which retweet you will get you the sale. So I think that bit would do a huge help. And also, I don't know about your Twitter, but you could make a nice little poster of your feathers and put a nice little title and present it beautifully as a pin tweet, so that when people retweet, it's easy to reach your work. So if you look at your pin tweet right now, it's Lightning. So yeah, it's your choice again. You want to put Lightning first, go for it. If you want to put feathers first, go for it. But either way, I think it should be one. Right now, it's presented beautifully. So yeah, I think that step is done. But if you look at your retweets, there's like nine retweets. If you come to MetaJungle space, right there you'll have some 25 retweets on this work.
Yeah, I want to retweet it, but at the same time I don't, because I don't want it in the same collection as feathers. I'll retweet it for visibility, but I think you got to bring it outside of the feathers collection and pick which one you want to which one you want to sell first, just like Sabode said. Otherwise, it's it's just harder. It's just more work for you, and just to keep it alive by talking about the work. So yeah, here
And
you
change
have
that PFP.
yeah,
Whatever the
chain,
PFP is, put something better.
yeah, the keychain. Cool. Yep. Cool. I think with that, I think I'm ready to move on to the next collection, unless artist is here and they had anything that they wanted to add. They could unmute if they are here. Let's see. He is here. Priven is here. You know, all the artists tend to be showing up, so that's a good thing. Priven, if you want to unmute and speak, you can totally do that. I see he's throwing up emojis in the feedback AMA. A laughing face. I don't know when when that was about what we were saying.
That was for barbecue.
Oh, that was for barbecue. Yeah, that was pretty damn funny. That was great. Okay. Cool. I think he's just throwing up a peace sign and a laugh. So cool. I think he got the message. With that, then, we can move on. Next collection is called Katrina Worlds, and this is by Sun Grazers. It seems to be a collaborative collection. I am going to read the artist statement. Our stills collections on Sligo will be surrealistic, drawing on unique and historic stills we shot in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, which passed over New Orleans and Louisiana in 2005. Ours was the only helicopter given permission to document Katrina other than the live television broadcast choppers. So these still photographs are truly unique, one of a kind. Sometimes nature trumps art when it comes to rearranging the world around and beneath us. This was never more apparent than when flying over the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in August of 2005, an experience which deeply affected us. This series is the first of four in which the power of nature has created horrific beauty. The worlds from which our title Worlds came, and which references the whirling hurricane, were provided by us. Katrina did all of the rest of the work. Okay, so it's by Jerry and Sarah Grayson with Toby Dundas. So looking at it overall, there's a huge gap in the pricing. There's at the lowest 0.5 and at the highest 1.5 ETH. When reading the description, I thought that I was going to see top-down bird's eye aerial views in a documentary fashion of Hurricane Katrina, which I was very interested to see. So this definitely doesn't fall into a documentary category for me. We can go through some of the images. So this image here is train set. It says huge and heavy rail cars left strewn across the Louisiana landscape by wind that thought of them as toys. I'll open it up. And so these are trains. And obviously the photo is manipulated here. Without the description, I would not know that this was Louisiana. I would not know anything about these trains that were thrown around like toys. I would have to come to my own conclusions. Looking through some of these quickly, if I just look through, some of them are visually appealing to me. I do find this one very visually appealing. And there's another one for me. It's this one here that's very visually appealing. But I would never know what this is unless I read the description. The description: seahorse buses double. Return to the state in the time of crises, but sometimes find them lacking. 2 rows of school buses left drowned in New Orleans. Yes, this was the evacuation plan. So what I did here was when I saw this collection, I, in my mind, wanted to see what this actually looked like without manipulation because I've never seen it. And I went to their Instagram. And on Instagram, I found this image that I really, really, really love. This is it looks like sitting police cars and trucks that are just destroyed by the storm. I love this very much. I like your collection on Sloika, but I love what I see here more. This because I don't think that you need to make these images that are already abstract because nature destroyed this and made its own abstract. I don't think that you needed to take the further step to further abstract these images. I find them to be more compelling when I can see them, when I can see them like this from above because I haven't seen Hurricane Katrina like this from above. With that being said, I don't know how Sabode. Look at this. I don't know how Sabode feels about the collection because I haven't spoken to him about the collection yet. But that is the way that I feel about the collection. I am more drawn to the abstract that was created by nature on its own than I am from the manipulated abstract created here.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, thanks for taking us through the Instagram because, I've been seeing this work on Sloika, but I never really went to the Instagram I don't even go to Instagram nowadays, so that's the issue. But now that you opened, I realized how beautiful these images are, as they are. You are very much right, with those wonderful documentary shots, especially the one with police cars. My God,
My
that
God.
image is so cool. Yeah. I mean, these images are documentary, like, right? Straightforward documentary. And I'm sure, most of the characters would be interested in getting a piece of history, because that Katrina was huge. It created a lot of devastation. And having a piece of that would be so cool. Just straightforward. We don't even need anything else. So the swirly ones which is made, okay, it's creative output, but it doesn't communicate, because I can't even see the bus in that picture, which was put on Sloika, like when I read the description, I realized, okay, there was a bus and this evacuation plan. But when I see the actual one, it's way better than this one, So it's, again, we're talking from our own perspective. So, maybe they have a vision to put it out this way and there may be some other reasons behind it. But looking just at the photographs, if I had a choice of this versus that, which is the bus, which they had the video or even the trees, it's such a beautiful image. Those things have like straightforward appeal right away, because you're looking at a piece of history and it's real, it happened. So, that kind of a feeling where you want to grab a piece of that moment. All these images, they're so cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I wish. Oh, because they have been to Dubai as well. That's interesting. That was Expo.
what's that?
That building there, yeah, the one with a lot of patterns. Yeah, that's Dubai Expo.
Oh, I see. That's not part of the Katrina. But
Yeah,
so if you go to the questions that they asked, I think I can answer something I think about. They asked a question about it being historical or something.
let me read it. Yeah. Do you feel
Please.
our aerial fine art should be categorized as abstract or surrealistic?
Well, I
Do
mean,
you feel that our yeah, that's the
well, it's
first
definitely
question. Sorry.
it's definitely it's definitely it's definitely abstract and surreal, the one that they created on Sloika, but so is this shot. You know, like this is abstract and surreal. And then when you add to the story of it, I mean, I could imagine a lot of collectors in the space that want to own this photograph right here because there is no
Yeah.
other photograph like this. The next question is the one that I think is the important one that I'd like to answer.
Do you feel that our collection of Hurricane Katrina NFTs have historic value to a collector?
I'm going to be honest because this is an honest critique. The ones that are minted on Sloika, I don't think so. I don't think that they have historic value because they've been manipulated and there aren't the original ones. These ones on the Instagram have ultimate historic value. that is my opinion.
The final question is, these pieces took a massive amount of time, energy, compassion, emotion to create. Do you feel the one-of-ones are priced in a way that reflect this?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's look at the pricing again, because it's 0.5, and then there's an image that's 1.5, so that's three times the amount. Is it three times the amount because it looks three times the amount better? Is it three times the amount because it was three times harder to create? Is it three times the amount because of I don't know exactly. Let me look at the description. This one here is windy days. Surreal dominoes of massive concrete slabs left stacked after an assault by nothing more than wind. I mean, so this is the most expensive one, 1.5 ETH. So, a bit more of a description into the process, right? Like, this took, this much, we had to fly for this long on this amount of gas for the helicopter over this area, which was dangerous, etc. The time that it took to manipulate the image to look like this, etc. Maybe that type of information should be provided if you're going to have a 3x jump from one image to the next. I mean, I think that's my answer, I guess. I don't know if you have anything similar.
Yeah. In my case, you know what? If it was really like, if it was my collection, I know it's hard. Hiring a helicopter and flying to all this disaster can be quite a task, in terms of money as well as efforts. What I would be doing is, if a collector wants to collect this piece at 1.5 Ethereum, it's also kind of a right thing to do, which is, that piece, for instance, 1.5 in Instagram, there may be that picture in the real sense, whatever happened there. So I would put them into the Sloika collection. I would not list them for sale. I would give the same title, like if it's what is the title of that? Windy Days. I would call it Windy Days 1 with artistic touch. Second one would be a Windy Days 2 with the real aspect of it. It would be in the same collection. You could scroll through and see, okay, this is the picture which is actually turned into this artistic vision. And once the collector buys 1.5 Ethereum worth of that particular piece, the second one, which is connected to that, would be airdrop. Because tomorrow, if they want to display, they can display it side by side and say, okay, this is the actual event which happened, and this is the artistic vision of that particular disaster. In that case, they get a historic piece which will completely hold its value forever. At the same time, there is an artistic vision which is up to the collector to take a call on how to present. So I think, yeah, if it are straightforward images, I think this would be such a valuable collection overall.
That's a really great point. That's why I like having you, Subodh. You always have a good idea as to have a specific type of drop tactic where, they can use both images and have some type of reward system. So that's really well stated. I want to point out that these two images are the same image, gold and silver. So if you want to talk about price, I mean, it's the same exact image, and you just edited this one with a different color temperature or saturation, and you're charging more for the one that's less edited. I don't agree with this price point, and I wouldn't personally want to collect either because it's the same image, so I wouldn't feel like I had. It doesn't feel like a one of one. It feels like a one of two.
Yeah.
These other are a bit similar too. I mean, they're both the bus one. I think I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer exactly. Maybe the last one here. It seems a bit more complex, like a maze almost. But I would be more strict in the curation, especially with the Road to Nowhere with the same name and just silver versus gold. I want to know the story behind the Road to Nowhere. One of the many bridges across Lake Pontchartrain, whose roadways ended up on the floor of the lake after Hurricane Katrina, passed this way in gold. So, yeah, I would never be able to figure out that was that without reading description
I
there on
think,
that.
straightforward 6 images without any manipulation straightforward documentary. I think this collection, even at 1 Ethereum each piece, would have sold because it's part of history.
That's facts. That's exactly how I feel. And I'm so glad that I opened up the Instagram before, because I was like, wait a second. I need to see what it really looked like from above. And nature created its own abstract through disaster, to the point where you don't need to manipulate it to make it an NFT. I thought when I first entered the space, I was like, oh, I can't sell my photography. I have to throw something on it to manipulate it so that it could be like a digital NFT and it felt collectible. No way. Especially in the case of documentary, like documentary of COVID, documentary of Katrina, this hurricane, which was probably one of our worst hurricanes in U.S. history, if not the worst hurricane in U.S. history. Holds serious value as the original documentary work. So that was the biggest thing for me with this collection. I think can totally transform it.
When I saw those police cars in the water, which is now stuck in my head, I already visioned like Alpha having that piece in his collection, because that's such a good piece. I know he would kind of like such kind of pieces, because we see what Alpha collects and other collectors are interested in. This documentary works, whether it's Fellowship or whether it's Rhapsody curated. They all have this kind of images which are really resonating with collectors because of the historical significance. So I think these images definitely have to be straightforward.
It's funny you read my mind, because when I was looking at this before, I actually imagined that I thought to myself, oh, Alpha would collect this piece. This would be the first piece he collected. Yeah. I just didn't want to say it, but you said it. So it's funny how much we think alike on that. That I think that he would totally love to have something like that in his collection. And I'm not trying to put him on the spot by having to purchase it, but he probably would. Just because seeing them based on what he's purchased in the past and other collectors, it just makes a lot of sense. So other than that, I don't really have many. Let's look at their Twitter and what they're what's going on
They're
Twitter
very
here.
active. That's not a problem.
Let me follow. Very active, very supportive. So great. 2052. So the Nifty Gateway. Bidding war began on this piece. So, okay, cool. So, like you said, aesthetically beautiful and historically significant. A drown wood. So, wait, do they have? So, is this on Tezos? Because if this is on Tezos, I think this should have been done the other way around. I think that this should be on.
Oh, yeah.
This should be on Sloika, and then manipulation should be on Tezos. Personal opinion. Now I want to look into I want to look and see what they have on Tezos. If that car is on Tezos, those police cars, I'm gonna buy some Tezos today. I'm gonna buy all of them. Sungrazers. Wow, this is a really big link tree. Nifty Gateway, Object, Sloika, First Dibs, Foundation. What's on Foundation? Okay, so this is different. I want to know where those images are. Is it Object? Ooh, it is. These are on Object.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, all the best ones are on Object.
So this is only 10 Tez. Oh my God, it's even better when it's not Square. This is amazing. Who owns these? They only have 2 left, and I don't have any Tez.
1 second. So 8 sold. 8 is what? 80 Tezos. 80 Tezos is like, let's say $100. This could be one Ethereum picture on Sloika.
Yeah, this is Rachel Wood owns one. Leslie Spurlock. They have 3 left. Yeah, I don't know. Someone's probably going to beat me to this in the chat room right now. But if they don't, then I'm going to buy some Tez on my Gemini and I'm going to send it, and I'm going to buy the rest of these. But man, this can have been held for super rare. Sloika. Shoot. Katrina when the wind
Easy
blows.
one. Easiest one ever.
Yeah, because they picked all. Here's another school buses. Another school bus is shot. I want to see.
Even the tree, the second one, is such a beautiful image. The second image in the orange, yeah, so beautiful
Yeah,
it is.
it's 30 editions, and they still own 13 of them, and they're 50
I
tes.
mean, this didn't need so much of hard work, putting it as 30 editions. It could be single one of one at one Ethereum with the whole story around it. This was a no-brainer. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's artistic choice. It's totally cool. I'm not trying to say that.
I'm not going to come in and buy this one because everyone else got it for 12 tes, and then they decided to change the price to 25 tes, then 50 tes. So I would probably buy the cars, the one that I like the best, this one, as it's 10 tes, and there's only 15 editions of this one, and this is the best image, and you put the lower price. I would have went about this in a different way. That's just so. But yeah, beautiful images. This is just so good. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, this is a killer. I mean, I wish I had this. I would put it for 5 Ethereum.
yeah. For 5 Ethereum, yeah. I mean, that would be like if I was on Super Rare, this would be like my Genesis piece with the story, and I think it would be collected. I think it could be collected at 5 Ethereum too. Um, So this says Maker's Place, known origins, Leica object, with nifty gateway. So on a lot of different platforms. Okay. And we answered all the questions that were there.
Yes, I think we test all the three.
Okay. Well, there was definitely a straightforward and critique that was no holding back. Um, the images that we really love are actually on object, they're not on Leica. And so, yeah, with that, is the art. I mean, if the artist here wants to talk, if the artist is here, um, looks
They
like
are
they're
in
not.
Australia, so they're in Australia,
Oh,
so the time zone.
oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, makes a lot of sense. Okay, great, cool. With that, I think we can move on to the next collection, which is next collection is called Soy Generis, and this is by Ratnadwip Saha. And let's take a look here. So NFTs,
I mean,
there's
even
three.
straightforward, just going through the straightforward first feel of this collection is so good. The profile picture is so perfect with the window, the background, which is a huge poster of women, and the title. Already, it's a good impression to start with.
It is. I agree. And we have a description too. As the name suggests, this collection will include unique sui generis portraits from all over the world, each having its own story that speaks of culture, tradition, ethnicity, geography, making this collection one of the rarest and uniquely satisfying journeys. So, yeah, let's take a look. Before I was opening this one, it wouldn't allow me to open it. It still does not. Are you able to open this image? It says unable to render content, view on Etherscan. Maybe something happened to that third image. Um, but yeah, we could start by opening the first one. I'd love for you to speak on these first this time. If you would love to, Sabode, you are actually
Yeah,
more in line with this type of portraiture work. So why not?
yeah, definitely. Like this is a place I've been to. It's called Zero, which is in India. Very unique tribe with a very unique culture. If you look at them, they have a nose ring, they have tattoo on their forehead, they got those necklace which is made handmade by them. So it's a very, very unique tribe. And anyone who goes there, I always keep an eye as to what people are creating and what's something new coming out of that place. And I think this image is so perfectly done in terms of light, the way her face is lit, the way her hands are lit. It's so beautiful. And most importantly, the background, without a doubt, it's such a beautiful background because that's their home. their home has those. They don't build home with like bricks. They build it with some kind of like bamboo and etc. So that is visible. It tells the environmental portrait. It adds that value. So it's, for me, absolutely perfect. If I was there, I would make the exact same image.
Yeah, I love how it's not a completely black background, and you can see this sort of like whatever this is, bamboo or tile or wooden tile or whatever it is in the image. It really lends to that side of the frame. So I love it, and
Yeah,
I agree with
in
that with everything you said. Go ahead.
in environmental portrait, I think that's the most important thing. Whatever is in the background, it should be contributing and not coming in between the picture. So in this case, it's contributing beautifully. It's so beautiful, the background. That's what attracted me most to this image.
Yeah, I agree. That weight of the background, just in this area here, that just has that bits of light that shows us the texture in that background, and the color blue with your skin tone and the background, the lighting is just perfect. Everything is just absolutely beautiful. So love that image. I'm going to tell the description of it too. Here's an 80-year-old Aptani lady who has seen ages transforming, who saw ethnic Himalayan civilization and now is the village's storyteller, favorite granny of Zero. Uh, the Apatanis, one of the major ethnic groups of Eastern Himalayas, have a distinct civilization with systematic land use practices and rich tradition, ecological knowledge of natural resource management and conservation acquired over the centuries through informal experimentation. They are known for their colorful culture with various festivals, intricate hand-loom designs, skills in cane and bamboo crafts. This has made the Zero Valley a living cultural landscape where humans and the environment have harmoniously existed together in a state of interdependence, even though changing times, such coexistence being nurtured by the traditional customs and spiritual belief systems. Wow, what a description! Really, really articulate and well written description about this place. You really do them justice by the photography and the descriptions. I love it. Really great.
I totally agree. Yeah. Ratna has always been that guy. He's a photographer and a poet. I feel sometimes, he has the talent to put words together and work really hard to make sure it's presented beautifully. This is exactly what we are talking about in the first collection, being a storyteller. Your job as a photographer is to tell the story, and I think you should justify those beautiful images with beautiful words. I think it's very well done.
Yes, and this image here, so powerful. I mean, from the look in her eyes that has this feeling of hope, and then the flies. She has a fly on her forehead. I think a fly above her nose. A fly. It looks like a bug or a fly in her hair, and yet she's still so beautiful. And looking out into a world that hopefully has many opportunities for her that she can that's open to her. I mean, let's read the description though. Met this girl in Masamara. She was peeking from the small window. There was something in her eyes that moved me. There was a search of the unseen, a spark of. So this is much better written than I just said it. A search of the unseen, a spark of dreaming big that made her more beautiful than she already was. But she is black, and for many, that will be her ultimate identity. They won't be seeing beyond her melanin level. Um, and let me. I'm sorry. And so let my click be utopian revamping, because I believe people are not all rotten. Beauty is not all twisted, and humanism is not all lost. There still exist eyes that could penetrate deeper than our melanin and appreciate what's inside us. there can still be hearts that see the smile of this little girl and embrace her along with her difficulties and compassionately tend to her visions, making them reality. I believe my utopia can be very real. Do you? Location, Maasai Kenya. So this is interesting to me. I mean, the description is really fascinating, but the location is interesting to me because the only thing that I know of Masai Mara is the wildlife. So maybe, Sabode, you can talk a little bit about the people that live within Masai Mara. Are they of conditions that are poor conditions and such? I don't know much about Masai Mara.
Yeah, yeah. Around Masai Mara, we got these villages. Ratna was with me, when we took this shot. So there are these villages around Masai Mara where you are allowed to visit. So they are, of course, living in the same situation conditions that they had, but it doesn't mean they're poor because they're actually quite rich, because there are thousands of tourists who come to Masai Mara to shoot wildlife, and everyone takes a day break to visit the village. And when you enter the village, you have to pay $10 per head. So per day, you can expect maybe 200 people and into $10 each. So they make a lot of money, but they don't spend that money on the village. Maybe they spend it on the schooling. Maybe some people just put it into the pockets. But overall, yeah, their conditions has not really improved. The amount of flies in this place, it's maddening. So I feel bad for them. At the same time, I think they're quite happy. They get to meet the world comes to them, so they literally get exposed to everyone. So yeah, in that sense, it's good. But yeah, overall, a great image and beautifully written.
Wow. The third image, I'm having a trouble of pulling it up. I've been having trouble. I restarted my computer before and it didn't do anything. So I don't know. Maybe the artist needs to check this out. Maybe it's an issue with Foundation. But it says unable to render the content. So I guess you could talk about the image from the smaller scale. Maybe I can make it bigger by doing that. Yeah, it's another beautiful, like another beautifully joyous. This is just I don't know if it's from the same place. Let's read the description, because I don't know exactly. So there is. It's not. Maybe because I'm zoomed in too much. Nope. So no description on it. I'll go back. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, a beautiful moment with this kid. I mean, it's so genuine. I don't know if this is Mastamara as well. I love the depth of field and the dreamy bouquet. And I love that it looks like he's holding on to his little pendant that's on his necklace here. But I don't know how it fits. I don't know if it fits or how it fits with this. I would probably need to read a description on this. So right now, I'd probably look into what's going on with Foundation on that one. What were the questions that he had, or do you want to elaborate some more on this current image here and if it fits?
Yeah, I mean, you already talked about it, the bouquet and the vision to add some foreground so that it takes you into the image. I think it's beautifully done. I mean, you can't stop smiling when you look at this image. So again, the question is, how does it fit into this collection of two color and one black and white? But if he's planning to build this collection in the future, I think the description says that it's going to include all his best shots of portraits. With that sense, yeah, maybe it could just start building on it and maybe it starts working together. So I think, yeah, I mean, overall, the pricing also, he's gone a little bit on the higher side. I think it's quite justified because pictures are really, really good. One Ethereum, 0.75, zero point 0.5 is all worth it. So I think it's good. So coming to the questions, let me just check. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. The price point is kept comparatively high because of the rarity of the images. What are your thoughts on this?
I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I think I just before reading the question itself, I answered that, which is I think they deserve it. If you have some patience and wait for it to find the right eyes, I think some images can be preserved with the price. It can just marinate for a bit because you already are busy with editions on the other side, Sloika drops and this and that. So this thing can wait for the right person to come and pick it up. I think price is right. They're very rare images indeed.
I agree.
What are your thoughts about? what are your thoughts about the quality, presentation, and descriptions? I think again we talked about that.
Yes, great descriptions,
And
great quality.
yeah, and the final one is, what would be a suggestion to bring more eyes to this collection?
Now let's take a look at let's take a look at. I mean, I know right now it's very involved in the community. I mean, you see him everywhere. But let's take a look at his Twitter here. So right now he's got his pinned tweet, focused on this shot, which is awesome, Tangerine. Probably, I think I quote tweeted it last time. Let's see. Let's go through. Let's look at media at least. I mean, just Spaces, obviously, right? But he isn't he in your Spaces a lot?
Yeah, I think he's super active, no doubts about that. And yeah, he's been all over the space, which is again a good thing. And that's why he's selling, so it's all good. In terms of his social media activity, I think he's right on spot.
Yeah, I mean, you're applying to NFT now, which is which is a pretty big, they're pretty big company building in Web3. I would have definitely talked about the image here. I would have told the story a bit here. Same thing here, GM, but no, I tell your story more.
Yeah, like on that point, first of all, choose your shilling threads. Just don't put in every thread you see, because again, algorithm is looking at all those things. And secondly, telling the story, like Mike rightly said, there was a point when my Genesis was running, I would do this. I would choose my shilling threads and I would put my images, and I would never put just an image. I would always tell that few lines, about the collection, about how much is left, and here's the link. So those few things could be always used. Words can be used to push it.
Oh yeah, I forgot that this is a collection too. I love this collection. I mean, it's probably. I mean, yeah, you're so active. I mean, it's probably just patience, right? Right? Because I mean, your prices are higher on the current collection that we're looking at than a lot of your stuff. The market is like, we're in a bear market, so collectors are a bit more weary, especially when they're spending more and they're not, buying editions that are extremely cheap, for the most part. A lot of the factors probably like for this artist in general, just probably outside of them, and it might just be a patience thing. I mean, that would be my answer on that. Was there another question?
No, that's it.
Very cool. Cool. Then, if that's it, then I think we can move on to this collection, uh, which is I don't know how you say that. Is that Ipanema Bubble? Let's see. Uh, Ipanema Bubble Open Edition, and this is by Giovanni Cordioli. And so, I haven't seen this much. This Manifold, Manifold has their Manifold Gallery thing now, where you can kind of just buy straight through them, and it's an open edition. Looks as if it's only available for another 3 days, 7 hours and 19 minutes. So far, 39 people have minted. I mean, the price is like, 0.002. I mean, like, I don't even know what that is. It's got to be like in the single digit dollar range, or like close to free. So there's that. I mean, the image is pretty beautiful. I mean, it's definitely pushing boundaries, and it's not a snapshot. Clearly, you're photographing the scene that's probably the most interesting part of the scene through a bubble. So it's definitely a really cool image. Let's read. I'll read the artist name here. 1 year anniversary, open edition by Giovanni Cordioli. This is an edition celebrating my first anniversary. So anniversary in the NFT space, I'm guessing. It's a way to show gratitude to this amazing community. A year ago, I discovered this NFT space, which brings together the most varied types of talents from around the world. little by little, I got to understand better and get to know people, making friends and learning a lot from everyone here. Entering a time of euphoria until we reached a bear marketing. I think you want to say bear market, impacted by the global crisis. We went through the most diverse challenges. It's not easy to stay active and motivated all the time, but as with the great explorers, we need to face adversity together until we reach our goals. The path is uncertain and full of unforeseen events along the way, but we must continue to believe in the achievement of the open metaverse. For this, it is essential that we continue to build and support each other. I'm so grateful to everyone who has been part of this journey with me so far, and I look forward to making many new connections to celebrate together. Good vibes from Rio. Cheers. So yeah, I like it. I like the idea of this of it being a one anniversary open edition piece. It's really cool. I can align with a lot of what he's saying here about going through tough times, but meeting amazing artists and amazing people. And I would never trade this for the world. I wouldn't trade for the world what has happened to me in the past year, and meeting all my new friends in this space. So yeah, and it's a really cool image. So I mean, I think to talk further more about this, I would probably have to go through the questions that they've asked. And I don't know if I've talked a lot there, so I'm sorry. I was going to let you add some
Yeah, not a
stuff.
not at
Yeah.
all. No, I just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations on 365. And I was not so aware of this, so right now I'm gonna pick it up. Once this Discord is over, I'll be the 40th owner, and it's an open edition, so it's at a low price just to make sure that people can have a piece of your art. So I don't think value of the image comes into question, because if you calculate this, you have with 40 owners, you got like 0.08. That's the value which is put on this image right now, which has to be much more than that because it's a great image, very unique. So yeah, definitely looking forward to collecting it once done with this Discord. And meanwhile, the question is, I ended up putting a minimum price to make it accessible to everyone as a gift and avoid bots. But apparently the market seems in a really bad moment. Yeah, considering it's only 40 pieces so far, definitely I don't think it's the market to play a role here, because it's a very, very affordable piece. I think it's just reaching to more people. For instance, I didn't know much about this piece. Right now I know, and I'm going to pick it up. That's how it's going to work. So I think there's 3 more days. I'm sure there are many more people coming in. So anything on that, Mike, about the market, given it's only minted 40 times?
Given it's only sold 40 times, is that what you say?
Yeah, now it's 40 because you just got it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the market is the market is very difficult for everyone. I think everyone alike. I mean, even some of the most even some of the most well-established photographers in the space haven't sold anything in 2 months. And I know some of them from New York that you would think would be selling a lot more. But it's just it's one of those times. I mean, it's just keep pushing, like just keep building in a community and have intention. And I like the idea of the open piece. It's cool. And I love the piece. I picked up one to make it hit 40. So Bo's gonna grab it. So yeah, a lot of people asking about not being able to sell work and stuff. I think for the most part, for a lot of people, especially people who are very active, it's a lot of it's just time and place and where you're at. You can only do so much, right? You can only engage so much, talk in so many spaces, and help so many people, etc. Do what? And it's like at some point, it's just it'll come around. It's got to come around. The market comes around, and things become different. That's all I really have for that.
Yeah, I mean, the next question is, what's your perception about open and free editions nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew more. to be honest, because I've never done it before. But like I've seen Tyler's Journey do it, and I think it's like 14 ETH volume traded or something on one of his a couple of his open editions. I'm like, what? And I think it was like a free mint. So I guess if you have his reach, you can. I mean, you can make capital doing it, like quite a bit. I haven't done it. I think you have to gauge your audience and know what you can do at what time. I mean, he's got a lot going on with like Hagia community and that drop. There's like tons of eyes on him right now. He's got 20 plus K followers, so and he can get away with doing that. I don't know how that affects artists in the long run. I don't know yet. I used to think I knew more than I did about the effect of these types of things and how to bring your prices up incrementally and stick to your prices even in a bear market, or should you drop it? It's very open ended. I don't know, Sabode. How do you feel about this 3 months open editions? I think it comes down to the artist and the reach they have.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot about this, because it's been running a lot nowadays, open and especially free. For me, that free doesn't work at all. For me, once you do that, you're spreading too thin in a market where you're trying to build your brand. So, for me, it doesn't work. Everyone's journey is different. My journey doesn't fit into that free editions, and even spreading it too thin with the pricing. It's totally cool, 0.0021. If that's okay with you, it's cool. But in my case, I was thinking about this particular thing for a couple of days. Even if I do it, it will still continue to be that 0.03 kind of a price range where I have been playing with editions. And I would keep it very, very limited. I would not run it for 5 days or a week. I would keep it maybe for 1 hour. Like if you really like my work, you got 60 minutes to collect it. And even if one person collects, it's all right. If 10 people collect, it's all right. If no one collects, that's also cool. But I would do it that way. I would still make sure that the rarity is still holding itself. I want people to appreciate that piece and go for it rather than just say there's a week anyway, I'll look at it later, kind of feel, or it's free and let's go and get it. And all the bots come in and they also take it and they put it out at a very, very low price. So I don't think, I don't know. From my personal opinion, I would never do it for free.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, right? Like having a time limit on it that's low enough to maintain scarcity. Because like it doesn't matter how big you are, if you're putting out like a bunch of free open editions, and let's say you're on super rare or something, like how will you how do you expect the collector to buy a piece that's of similar quality for like 3 ETH? Like if you're asking for like $5,000 for a piece and you just gave open edition free pieces like a month before, like are you going to be able to sell it if collectors looked at your history? So I think that's a good point, to try to keep the scarcity. I think as far as yeah, try to keep the scarcity, and hopefully, like you said, even if one collects, then that's fine. If 50 collect, that's fine. Or you get to thousands of people collecting because you allow each person to collect 10 of them. It's got to do something. It's got to do something to the value of your longevity, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Somehow you need to maintain a scarcity. And that one way is to control the time. You along with the price, I think the time, lesser you keep, more people will hurry into it. They know that it's gonna last for whatever, one day maybe, and that will create more urgency to it rather than uh, just going on for many days on the same thing. But anyways, it's totally cool. I love all these things happening right now, which is open editions. Makes it easy to collect also. But meanwhile, the other question is about the short. What do you think about the short? And finally, how to get to more eyes, because 3 more days left.
Yeah, I really liked the shot. If I didn't, I wouldn't have got one. I think the same goes for you. Like I love that you framed it through a frame, and that frame is a bubble, and like even without the bubble, it's probably a beautiful shot, right? I mean, the light is gorgeous. People are on the beach, the mountains, but I like that. I like that it's framed through a frame. I think it's unique. I like when people do, step out of their comfort zone or whatever it is, and push boundaries in photography. I love the imagery.
Yeah, I think apart from that, how to push it out in the last 3 days, I think we all know the answer. It's space, space, and space. More you come into space and more passionately you talk about this. I think with the pricing, there's no barrier. Anyone can approach this pricing. So everyone knows how to mint on manifold. So I think it's just about coming up and talking and pushing it out. Right now you came into this AMA and already you have 2 sales.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the thing. Applying yourself to spaces, to the AMA, and then having a great pinned tweet, having a great story. Like I look at some people's pinned tweets and I'm like, damn, I need to work on a better pinned tweet. I see some of them are like tweet storms in like 10 pages, and where they started, who they are, and what their journey looks like, and I'm like, wow, I think there's always more that we can do, given that we have the time to do that. So yeah, but
Yeah.
most collectors want to hear about you. They want to know about you, and they want to hear your story, and they want to know that you're sincere and your intentions are.
And last thing I would say is, celebrating every sale. Like we may take it a bit easy because it's selling, it's editions, it's low cost. But I think celebrating every sale with a tweet, like for instance, Mike bought it. Right now, there should be a tweet there. Thanks so much, Mike, for collecting my piece. If you guys are not collected, here is the link. 3 more days to go. Next person collects again the same thing. It's never enough push you can have when there's a time limit to it. So, and also I think there's a kind of a, I think I do it all the time. Whenever I collect, I celebrate the artist and I make sure I put the link. So I think every collector also needs to do that. If all 39 people did that, I think there would be many more eyes on it. You should maybe ask your friends, whoever collects, can you put a nice tweet about this kind of a thing?
I do that with almost every sale or every few sales that I make. Is that I say, I welcoming this person to the Lost in Transit collection. Thank you, etc. But like, if I buy a piece from someone, it's probably in their best interest to like tweet about the fact that I bought the piece, because like it's a chain reaction. Like, because then I'm gonna see that you tweeted that I bought your piece, and I'm gonna retweet that, and now that retweet goes to my audience of 16,000 viewers or whatever. So now you just raised your audience by 16,000 viewers, or whoever gets to see the algorithm. But yeah, every piece should be celebrated because it keeps it relevant. It keeps it in people's minds. It keeps it in people's minds that other people enjoy this too. Other people are buying it. It creates FOMO. It creates people clicking on your work to look at it and opening your profile. It creates follows. It creates all of that stuff. So it's a huge point that you should be doing that for sure.
Yeah, recently, there was a free edition from a photographer who shoots underwater, Matt. So I came across his work through Emma. She posted it on MetaJungle, and I bought one. I tweeted that, okay, here is a piece, here is a link, and some of my people, from Dubai, they have just entered NFT. They are not minted anything. They're not collected anything. They just have some $30 worth of Ethereum in their thing to just mint. They all saw this, that it's a free edition, and right away all of them had their first NFT ever. Like 6 of them bought, and they realized how to collect. What's the fun of it? So that the retweets, from each and everyone who collects makes a huge difference. I think many do that, but many more need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about like just it's all like seeing how other people operate too. Like I pay attention to how people that are doing well operate, and then I just say, oh, what can I use from how they operate, and to help myself as well. It's like it's just, and that's a great point. Is retweeting each sale. It's huge. I see Christopher Shin is doing that right now with everything that he everything he sells. He has a lot of cohesive bodies of work, and every time people see that, they're like, "Oh, this new person bought it. Oh, these five bought this. Now Mike bought it. Now Alpha Trilogy bought one. Now this person." So it's like, it creates FOMO. People it just creates interest. People want to look at it. Why are all these people collecting this? So yeah, that's a great point, Sabod. Was there any other questions?
No, that's about it, Mike.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, beautiful image, and yeah, happy anniversary of 365. That's kind of I don't remember the day I came in, but I've got to be 365 and more now too. So very cool. With that, the next collection is let's see. Next collection is Human in Nature by Ramazan Sirikoglu. All right. And, I've seen this title. I don't know if it's from him, but or if it was from other people, or it might be a title that's used often. When I first look at the collection, right, there's some shots that really stand out to me. I mean, well, most of them stand out to me, but these three right here, Last Flamingos, Don't Be Shy, We're Friends, and Let's Be Friends, they feel like they belong in the same place together, right? Let's open up Last Flamingos. This is a gorgeous piece. I love this shot. I mean, you talk about like foreground, middle ground, background, and like landscape images. Like, what's better than having a foreground of like, I don't know, 100 to a couple of hundred flamingos in their reflection, and then just leading out into this snow-capped mountain. Really interesting shot. Then we have this shot was really, really, really touching to me. I mean, it's obviously a garbage dump, and this man, he looks really sincere and kind, and he's pouring water into a paper bowl, and the dog just looks. I feel like I could feel the pain in the dog. Like the dog looks like it has no one. It feels hopeless. It's sad. It's a sad image. It's a beautiful image to see the man helping the dog, but it's also a really sad image of just just life, and like what it can be like. And then this one's collected by Giga Chad Pepe. I believe that's how you say it. This is a beautiful shot of what's happening here. The lighting, the forest. I'd love to hear simple. I mean, those are the ones for me that feel like they fit in this collection. I don't know if you looking at this as a whole, like how you feel about this overall collection. This artist is really good. I think they're really great at photography. I just don't know that the other two images feel like they make sense in here.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, you stole my words as always because we think alike in these terms. So those three are a family. They have exactly kind of a relationship to each other. The one with the third one and the fourth one. The fourth one. Can you just open the fourth one, please? The one with the bill.
Yeah,
I don't even know what is the story there.
It's the most expensive one, and it's the least.
Just a building.
It's least compelling. I agree. I mean, world's most ridiculous building. Yeah, it's got ridiculous architecture, but it's not. There's not much really happening here. I mean, he's shown in the other photographs that he could make images that are like beyond compelling through storytelling, through depth, dimension, and everything else. And then this just doesn't feel like it fits in here. And the buy now is the highest. It's strange.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this, it's like a phone shot. Tomorrow you can walk here and do the same shot again. Because it's not a moment which is gonna fly. The tree is gonna be there. The building is gonna be there. As ridiculous as it looks, so nothing is gonna change there. So yeah, in terms of that, this image is not up to the standards of the photographer, because when you look at the first three images, they're like those three images which we talked, just so good, well composed. It's a proper photographer at work, but with this picture, it just doesn't fit. And even the other one, it's very concept what do you call that? It's like a concept shoot, like you stage everything, and it doesn't fit into this collection at all. It's just not meant to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I like this shot a lot. It doesn't fit in this collection. It reminds me of the idea of everyone's feeling of this impending doom, which is like the time running out of life, and this is the stealer of life. And I don't believe that. I don't believe in death. I believe that everything is like everything is just forever and always going, and that energy can never be lost, and it's only transferred. And so what I see is a juxtaposition here of this girl flowering, new life, rebirth, reincarnation. That's so. I think this is a really powerful image. I mean, I'm not sure that that's what they're trying to tell through this, but that's what I get through this because I believe in this side of the image here more than I do on the juxtaposed side of what I think most Western civilization believes in. But my beliefs are more of the Eastern thought process on life. So I mean, I do think it's a beautiful image, and I think it's obviously staged and manipulated. Clearly these three are not staged or manipulated, right? I mean, this possibly could be staged. Let's be friends, but I don't think these are. I mean, you can't stage this, right? These are different types of photographs. They feel like they fit in the same book, and the other two just don't. The weakest image of this is certainly for me is the building shot. Feels like a very touristy shot that most people would look up and take from that center spot there. I mean, if I was to take this, I probably would be taking something more in the lines where if this was shot on iPhone, I would shoot this at 3x and try to shoot more in the architectures of here and create something with light shadows and architecture. But yeah, it just doesn't fit within the collection. And with that, what are the questions, or do you have anything to add on it?
No, let me just check the questions. Give me a second. Human and nature. Do you think the subject integrity is good in the collection? And the second question is, do I need to remove some photos from the collection?
I think I think we talked about that. I mean, I think the integrity in these four images really good. I think they're really good. The second question, yeah, I think both of these need to be removed from the collection for it to feel more cohesive, from my perspective at least, because this is just conceptual, this is documentary, and then this is just like it feels like a snapshot of architecture. So like maybe let's stick with the documentary feel that's about life here. Yeah, and I would personally remove these two, yes.
If nothing else, at least the building, that image is not meant to be here. It doesn't tell the same story that a photographer has. In terms of composition and etc. That image doesn't fit in. It's not your image at all. The building one, yeah, that definitely go. Even if the other one with the concept stays, the building has to go. It just doesn't fit in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one with the concept has to go just because you see the watch
Manipulation,
here.
yeah.
It's manipulated here, and then it's placed in with documentary. So yeah. I would just put that somewhere else as a one of one, conceptual one of one, or in a body of work that's filled with conceptual images. Yeah.
True.
And was there another question, or is that it?
No, that's it. Yeah.
And is the artist here? I know a lot of.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah. So if it's my Wander Tales, right? And so if he's unmuted, if you want to talk and has anything about some of the feedback we gave, or if he's willing to move around some things in the collection, or had anything for us, it would be cool to hear.
I think he has a language barrier, so maybe he will not be able to. Yeah.
Okay, that's totally fine. His language is I'm reading through the photographs, so it's beautiful. So that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So all right, with that then, I think we can move on to the next collection, which is actually the last collection. I think Stoic is in here too. I've been waiting a long time. Still here?
No,
He
he
might
left,
have had
I
to,
guess.
might have had to go. Geez, I should have put him earlier on. Okay. Last one here is by is Chase the Sunlight by Shane Garrick, aka Stoic, and I've heard Stoic speak in spaces, and I like that guy a lot. He has a lot of great things to say and add, and just wanted to say that much, at least of what I know of him. Outside of that, looking at his the collection here, Chase the Sunlight. There's 4 items. He's got a royalty of a 10%. That's good. Created in September. That's pretty recent. Okay, Chase. Description: Chase that beautiful sunlight. Let it warm you up the way it warms my heart. I want to share all my work with everyone. I hope you find value in it. I'd probably talk more about what like talk more about why you photograph this type of work, this genre, what it makes you, what being a photographer is like, and stuff like that. Something a bit more. There's just not enough written here, I think, in the artist statement to be a completely compelling artist statement. So I would love to see a little bit more written in there. Title's pretty good. Chase the Sunlight. That's not that's not a bad title. Okay, looking at the price. Total volume is 0.02 ETH. Floor price is 0.02 ETH. Okay, 4 owners. Is it additions? Is it that also needs to be in the artist statement description here? Like, I don't know. Am I looking at one of ones? Probably not, because this says last sale 0.02. Let's open this up. There's 49 copies. That's so let's see. With 50 total. What happened? 1, 2, 3. So 3 sales. Description: the land where one has not wandered. Missing a lot of properties and stuff. I would definitely use properties now. The ones that are the most important are the artist name, the edition, which should even be in the description here. We really need to know what the edition is. Not everyone's going to look here. Wait a second. He also has it listed that the next person that buys this is going to get all 49 of them for 0.02 ETH. So someone should DM him on Twitter and let him know that he needs to cancel this. Otherwise, someone's going to own 49 pieces for 31 bucks. So there's a lot here that needs to be worked out. There's lots of description stuff missing. There's lots of properties stuff missing. Like I said, I'll go over it one more time. Artist name, very important. Amount of editions is very important. Licensing information, very important. I also put that stuff underneath the description of of each piece. So yeah, that's that. So let's look at the rest of the collection, because that's an addition of 50. Then we have You're Almost There. This is an edition of 3. I like this photograph better. And it's an edition of 3 for 0.04. And this is actually listed individually. This starts to get a little bit confusing, right? Because you have it all in the same collection, and you have edition of 49, edition of 3. Vast Mountains is edition of 3 also. And then there's another image that's an edition of 5. And this one actually has a license, location,
But
edition. Go ahead.
Mike saw what happened here with this image. 5 owned by. Okay. 5
It's
owned by
5 owned
Stoic.
by
Okay.
him. Yeah, he must.
Okay.
I think he minted this today, because I didn't see this when I picked this. Yeah, 6 hours ago. So it looks
It's
like
very confusing. Yeah. It's very confusing profile. What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah, just to be completely transparent and honest. One of the most confusing collections when trying to figure out like what I'm buying as far as an edition, how much I'm paying for what, etc. Outside of that, I mean, it's not the least cohesive collection I've ever seen. Um, it's he's shooting landscapes, right? So I mean, there's two images maybe here that would stand out to me. I mean, I think it's You're Almost There. There's something about this that has some beauty to it. Like I love the light that's shining through. Could be better if there's a subject, quite possibly. If there's a subject in the image, I think that the image could stand as a stronger image. Then there's the vast mountains. Let's check this out. Yeah, this is a pretty mountain shot. I don't know. Do you want maybe you want to speak on some of the actual images and technicals, Subodh?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back, the one with the title of the whole collection is sunlight. Sunlight. Okay, now it makes sense. I thought it was sunrise or sunset. So okay, now he gets a pass on the sunlight part. But I think overall the first image, of the with the orange sky, I think it's compositionally not so strong, because there's nothing much happening there. Composition is straightforward, just point and shoot kind of a thing, compared to other images. The one with the forest had much more drama in it compared to the one with the sunrise, and the other two are completely fine. Like the snow caps, and snow caps always look good. But what's
Mm-hmm.
happening here is the amount of confusion. Some of them are 3 editions, some of them are 50, some of them, there's still chance to correct it. If it's 50 editions, that's a bit too much. You can send it to your burn wallet and just get it tightened up, maybe 10 editions. So yeah, I think over minting kind of a situation, I think, with all four at once, all editions, and one of them not even properly listed. So I think it's a little bit all over the place.
Can you explain how to do that, Subodh? You said send to your burn wallet, right? It's like let's say he wanted to make this an edition of 10. How do you do that? I thought once this is done on here, like you couldn't change it. Like once
No,
one
there's
was
something
sold,
called
how do you do
there's
that?
something called a burn wallet, which is like a address which is non-existent somewhere. No one can reach it. So you just transfer your images. You just send, let's say, 50 out of 50. You send 40 of them to the burn address as an airdrop, and once it goes there, it's gone. It's never gonna see the light again.
So it
People
won't
do
say
that all the time.
it won't say 49 anymore. It'll say like 15
It
or 10 or
will
however many.
it will still, yeah. I mean, overall quantity will still say 50 total, but when you go to the owners, it will say, let's say, oh, my AirPods just died. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Let me just change my settings. Okay. So yeah, once you send it to the burn wallet, the quantity overall will be 50, but the number of owners in that, one of them will be the burn address holding 40, let's say.
Wow. Okay. So one of the owners it'll say holds a certain amount more than everyone else, but we just
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
know
burn
who that.
address will hold the most.
We just don't know who that is. Okay. So that's something that can be done. Yeah. So I guess the overall is so if none of these have sold, right? These editions, well, it has.
One.
Yeah. What about this one? Sarah Boychuk. So now you're kind of putting yourself in a position where like you're stuck with, well, this one is minted today, so you're stuck with a collection that has multiple editions. So like you have to think about like what that does to your floor price. Whatever has the most editions is always going to be like your floor price is always going to be low because of that. And I think having like a good looking floor price, at least to me, is important. Um, and there's the confusion behind um, how many editions each has. Like there's nothing in the description up here that tells us like what's going on with, and when you click on it there isn't either. I mean, you just have to expect someone to know that they have to look up here to know that there's 3 total. I mean, and I guess that's fair, but I would be more transparent in it. And you certainly have to You certainly have to cancel this because, I mean, I could just buy all 49 right now for 0.02, and I wouldn't do that because it's not fair to you. But someone should DM him about that. What was the questions that that Stoic had?
Yeah, let me just check. Okay, chase the sunlight. Yeah, should I be focusing on the bigger piece, or would the smaller pieces be better focus for selling? What's a bigger piece?
Say that once more.
Sorry, Mike, I couldn't hear you.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, he says, should I be focusing on the bigger piece, or would the smaller pieces be better to focus for selling? I think he's talking of whether he should focus on the 50 editions or on the three.
I mean, that depends on your audience, right? So, well, first of all, too, like there's no links here, right? So, right now, I was just like, oh, let me check his audience. So, I was going to click a Twitter link, but there's nothing. There's not a website link. There's not a Twitter link. You have a lot of work to do here. So, I will go to Twitter because I know your name, and I'll pull it up, and I need to get an idea of what you're, how active you are, how many followers you are. So 496 followers expecting to sell an edition of 50 it's just not realistic. Um, you know, it's hard for some people who have 20,000 followers right now to sell an edition of 50. It's very hard. So you have to gauge off of like what what your reach is. So then if we look at your post, do you reach a lot via with media and stuff? Does your stuff reach a lot? 017, not much. So it seems to be, it would be very difficult for you to sell 50. If I was in your position, I would focus a lot more on the one of one aspect of things, or the addition of 5, or I don't, addition of 3 is a bit strange. I don't know how I feel about addition of 3. Have you seen addition of 3s done before?
Yeah,
Subodh?
I mean, firstly, he's in the room right now. If he wants to unmute, it would be wonderful to have a conversation because there's a lot to talk about. And
Yes.
yes, even if you make it 3, one of my thumb rules, at least what I follow and what I tell people around me, is to make life easier for yourself and for the people who want to support you, which is by making additions approachable. If you go to 0.07 per piece, it's mostly out of reach of many artists because we can't spend so much when there are so many at 0.02 and 0.03 and waiting to be sold. We would be inclining towards those things. So I think, first of all, starting with the price point, make it easy. 0.02 to 0.03, anywhere in between that is a good price range so that everyone can approach. And secondly, the numbers, again, it depends on your followers, it depends on your connections. So 50 is when I released 50, my last of editions was 60 actually. And I was so concerned about it, like whether it's going to work, whether it's not going to work. Despite all this time spent here, I still have those doubts, so that's a big number. So I think 50 is a overstretch. Whenever someone asks me, I tell them make it 12 or maybe 15, max to max 20 if you want to push it far. After that, you are going to put that pressure on yourself because it's going to be hard to sell when there's such a oversupply happening everywhere around you. So yeah, that's the first thing. And secondly, releasing 4 at the same time is a lot of work. You should better go for one. Maybe you could just stick to one of this, which is on the screen, and make it 10 editions and make it 0.03 or wherever you'd like to put it within that range, and focus rather than putting 4 and scrambling all around trying to sell all of them at the same time. And of course, there's descriptions which has to be already tested by Mike. Descriptions are completely incomplete and listing is all over the place in certain places. So yeah, there's a lot of corrections to do.
Stoic joined the room, but this one is really important. You have to cancel this listing here, because the person who buys this is going to get all 49 pieces the way you have this listed. and that wouldn't be good. So I would cancel this as soon as possible. And if you're here, if you want to talk, there's a lot here that we discussed, and I think you weren't in the room. And I think you'd have to press that unmute button. So you should be unmuted. He's typing right now.
I think usually someone has to unmute him, right? In Discord, isn't that how it works?
Yeah,
Admin?
but Boss Mom's Jaden said you should be unmuted if you like to talk. So she's here active and she's unmuted.
But I can still see a mute button on his PFP.
Yeah, I mean I could show you a mute button on my PFP.
Yeah, Stoic, if you can try that.
It says not allowed to speak. You should be. If you hover under, there should be a mute and an unmute. Mute and unmute. Okay, I just did. Yeah, it says yeah suppresses. Are you just clicking it? Or are you holding it down? Just clicking it and it suppresses. Yeah, none of the artists spoke today, which I asked to come speak. Maybe they were having the same issue here.
Same issue. Yeah, it happens to me as well. I don't know now how it works for me, but usually even I had this issue of not being able to unmute in Discord. If you go to your sorry, Jaden.
Oh, thank you. We're working
There's
behind the
something called
scenes.
suppress. Mike, if you go to your left-hand side, where it says voice is connected, next to that there's a mic symbol. Does it say anything about that part? Yeah, above that. Next to your next to that. Up, up. Yeah, that one. What does
noise?
it say?
It says noise suppression powered by Crisp. Let me see what. Okay. So well, that's the word suppression. So maybe it means something. Let me click this. Enable Crisp. No, I don't need to do this. I don't think. I don't know. I think Jaden's trying to figure it out. So maybe we'll get to hear from Stoic. See down here, there's also, if you look down here next to my name, there's a mute, deafen, and then user settings. So maybe check down there still. Maybe if there's a mute or deafen, it might be an issue there. I don't know.
Hey guys, we'll look at some settings and be able to get that figured out because we're definitely double checking on seeing if it's something on his settings. But if he goes ahead and unmic, Stoic, if you turn off your mute, does that go ahead and do anything for you?
Okay, then going from what he's saying here and reading what he's saying, it seems like he understands that there's a lot that he's got to fix and work on. And you could tell that he knows that because if you look at the piece that he minted today, then you can see that he has more information in here. Like he has the edition 505, the title, the artist name, the license. So he is totally listening and is in spaces and aware of what needs to be done. And add the properties and stuff here. But overall, what we've said about the collection is that there's just some confusion because there's there's 50 editions on this one, 3 here, and 5 here. So you'd probably want to keep it consistent that each of them have the same amount of editions. It might be in your case the best idea to do that burn and start fresh, because you don't want to affect your floor price with super high additions when you have much lower additions, and also your amount of following and your engagement and reach is be very difficult for you to sell 50. So it's probably best to stick around the range between 5 to 15 on the additions. And I think that's really what we were trying to say. Please
Yeah, his
unmute it.
next question. Sorry. Oh yeah, he's unmuted.
You're the bomb.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just at my day job right now. I'm just on a little bit of a break just to kind of get all this in because, yeah, I know when I submitted this, I knew it was pretty much going to be an absolute shit show. So, yeah, I get what you guys are. I kind of missed the first half of what you guys were saying there. So,
It's going to be
basically,
recorded, so you'll be able to go back to listen to that.
okay. But yeah, basically just kind of tying off what you guys were saying at the end there. I mean, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing when I basically made this collection. Like, this is like me just kind of going off of blind faith and not knowing what the hell to do. Basically just, I'm honestly probably going to like burn pretty much everything and just kind of start all over because I don't know. I'm not happy with everything, and I'm just not really happy with the direction that this went. And, based on what you guys were saying, like, it's not kind of, I suck at curating. I suck pretty much at marketing and just everything. So,
Well,
yeah, and I don't have the time.
you got friends here that do all that, like, kind of full time curating and all that stuff. So, like I said, I've heard you speak in spaces. I really enjoy a lot of what you have to say. I mean, if you ever want to hit me up and say like, hey, I want to start fresh, and take a look at, if you have an Instagram or a place where you keep all your work, take a look at my Instagram and let's look at a collection that maybe I could put together. I would love to help. I'm sure Sabode would be willing to help as well, and maybe we can do a voice chat of the three of us and get you started off on the right path. I understand what you're saying. You have a lot going on right now with work and all that stuff, but it's best that we could start off fresh and do it right the first time, so that the beginning of your journey could be a good foundation.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably going to go that route most likely. Like, and honestly, though, like financially, I'm kind of pretty much tied. Like, it all kind of funds itself at this point in my life. Like, I don't have exactly the funds to like buying any ETH and stuff like that. So I'm kind of at that point in life too, but also just like, yeah, like I don't have exactly a ton of work to even necessarily put out because it's just kind of, yeah, like I said, between a full-time job and a family lifestyle and everything else in between, I don't have like the time in the world that pretty much like most other people do, and it's just kind of, it's a bit of a rough situation for me and a bit of an odd one, but I get what you guys are saying, and I'll probably, yeah, definitely reach out and get just a whole brand new collection started and curated properly because I want to do this good and I want to do it right, but I don't know, I'm just not happy with anything at this point, really.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So you just got to gauge your own life and all the responsibilities that you have going on, and find a balance that's good for you, and a time that's good for you, so that we can help you get a fresh start. And so whenever that may be, hit me up. My DM is open to you for sure, and I would love to help you out with that.
Yeah, and like, just to add one more way to go now that you want to start fresh, since already some people have bought into some of the pieces, you can't just burn them, right? You can just remove them off the blockchain. So what you could do is, if it's 3-piece edition, one of them is already bought, two is still with you, you can just airdrop it to someone who you appreciate, or you can airdrop it to the same person who already bought it and say, here is another two because I'm starting fresh. So keep it all, it becomes like a one of one, not really one of one, but still one owner of it. So you get rid of them in a better way rather than simply burning it off and doing that part. And yeah, one with the 50, definitely, that's where there's a you'll have to send it to a burning address, because already there are people who are bought into it. You can't simply burn it off again. So burn address is the best way to do it, so that you get over with all of them and then start fresh and go in a order.
Simki. Hey. I gave you. It's there. Come on. See,
What's up,
you
Carrot?
are in the hole.
Kirit,
I think his mic is open. What is he at work yelling at someone?
Oh,
Kirit
my
has no
mic is
idea.
open. Wait. My bad. Wait, somebody give me permission to talk. I'm not supposed to do that. Sorry.
It's okay, man. Don't yell at your customers, though.
No, he's my regular customer.
Good, you didn't use your proper Indian. You know what I'm talking about. So you just said good things.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, I guess that comes to. If anyone else wants to talk that wasn't able to before, we would love to hear from you. And if you're wanting to make changes in your collection, how you want to go about that.
Konu yaşamak yok mu canım? Ha,
Hello.
tabii canım yarın da. Hı hı.
I think everyone's like unmuting now.
This is why there is that control.
Okay. Well, with that being said, if anyone does want to talk about collections that we've spoke about throughout the day that hadn't had the chance, type that in the chat, and then we'll give you privileges to speak about the work. If not, then we can wrap up. It's been a really insightful day speaking about collections. A lot of people are out there talking and doing their thing and at work and business and stuff. It's okay. It's totally okay. Cool. I mean,
Blame
I
it
guess
on
it
the
looked
aliens.
on the aliens. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. I mean, dude, thanks, Sabod. Thank you so much, man. You really brought a lot to the table today, and like even just seeing little fine print things like people not having their royalties set was a really important thing. Guys, we got to be making sure like we're just checking the box on every little thing. Not having royalties could be really tough if all your pieces sell and then you just people are selling on secondary. We're not making what we should be earning. It's that's how we're going to be able to sustain as artists and always love running space with you. Suppose we seem to be on the same page about a lot of things. And really appreciate your time and effort that you put in, not only to the AMAs but just like the NFT community in general. And thank you so much, and obviously, MetaJungle for providing this platform to be able to educate for like an entire year and help so many people. But appreciate you, Sabalti. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Mike. Always a pleasure. I call MetaJungle the university because that's where I learned, and I'm just coming back to the classroom. So it's always fun because I get to learn a lot of things as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Very cool. I don't know if we have POAPs today. Goon is like the POAP guy, but if not, that's totally cool. It's just the POAP.
But
We all love you for being here. What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
got you. You're good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say great job, guys. I think the concept is really good, and I came here with the expectation of just learning, but I also picked up 2 pieces. And yeah, just beautiful, so much beautiful work at a very, very affordable price. So yeah, just great work, guys, and I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Wow. Yeah, we don't normally have people jump in and as a speaker that actually has collected in the Discord. That's kind of a first. And wow, really love hearing that you enjoyed this and came for educational reasons, but also picked up some pieces. What did what did you wind up picking up? It'd be cool to hear. Were you going to tweet about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I probably will make a tweet at some point. It was the car one over on Tessos, and then I got one of Giovanni's pieces from Rio. So yeah, really, really stoked about those.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, that car piece. I got the Giovanni piece, and the car piece was the one I was going to get when I got off of here. If they're not all if they're not all gone. Cool, man. Thank you for coming and participating and sharing that. That's always awesome to hear. Love that, and cool to see Giovanni got another sale there too. Cool. With
And
that, I
Mike,
mean that. Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Sabor.
actually, Stoic had another question in his questions, which is about blockchains. He was asking, should he also look into Tezos and Solana? So, what's your opinion on that?
So geez, I think that well, first of all, I don't know anything about Solana, so I'm not going to answer that part. Tezos, I think, could be good for new artists that have not have not really developed as an artist on the ETH side yet. The thing for me is I've developed a lot on the ETH side, and I've sold pieces for a decent amount of ETH, where it would be really, really difficult for me to sell on the Tezos side for that. So I would actually be going backwards, I think, in my trajectory by by selling on Tezos. But there are some artists that did not do well on the ETH side, or just did not build up an audience on the ETH side, and have created editions that have done really well on the secondary market on the Tezos side. The Tezos side has done pretty well during the bear market. I think better than the ETH side, but it's all a question is it's mostly how you do it. Like platforms mean so much. Like everyone wants to be on Super Rare, but there's artists on Super Rare right now that haven't sold the piece in 4 months, and it's their Genesis piece, and it's probably because they're just they're just not as their own brand. They haven't been marketing themselves or building relationships in a way that's allowing them to sell their piece. So I mean, a marketplace is a marketplace, right? Like it's hard to say. I mean, I think it's safer to stick on the ETH side. It's really all I have. Tezos is great for editions, but it's not great to overmint with a massive amount of editions either. You still have to know your audience, and you still can't predict whether or not secondary is going to blow up or not. It's a dice roll.
Great. I think that's about it.
Cool then. Well, yeah. Once again, thanks everyone for being here. We love doing these, and collect your POAP. And yeah, appreciate everybody who chimed in, and it was great to have an audience member to collect and get on the mic. So appreciate that, guys. And with that, if no one
But
has
Mike,
anything else, yeah, we
I
got
have a
more.
question.
Yeah,
What
go
to do
ahead.
with the POAP? I have no idea what is a POAP.
A POAP is a proof of participation. It just means that you were at an event. And so I mean, the easiest way to get the POAP, I got this app on my phone. It's called, I think it's a POAP. Hold on, POAP. Yeah, it's POAP XYZ or something. I don't know. I have the app, and then I can click on this, and I could see all of the POAPs that I've gained. It's like an NFT that's only worth showing that you were here for participation. It's cool to have it. Like, I have a collection of them now, and it's fun to collect them. Maybe one day they'll be worth something. Who knows? I have no idea. But that's what a POAP. It's a proof of participation award.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Hear it exposed.
Kirit. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Without the emojis out here, like in Twitter space, it's so dull. Like we want to throw emojis, but we can't right now. Otherwise, I would be throwing so many emojis for Kirit.
I know. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, I tried my best to describe what a POAP is. It's exactly it. It's an NFT that's worth your participation, and maybe someone in the future who loves MetaJungle so much will pay you for it. But I don't know. Who knows? It's cool. They're cool. They're cool to have and collect. Like anything else is cool to have and collect. It just might
And
not
you
have.
never know.
Yeah, you never know. You really don't ever know. You never know.
In the
You never
future, they
know.
may be worth, they may be worth trading, or they may unlock something in the community. So you just never know.
Ooh. Yeah, so maybe having POAPs, you can use their like tokens to buy MetaJungle merchandise or something like that. Who knows? I have no idea. But anything could happen. Collect your
Wait.
POAP.
Don't want to miss your black MetaJungle hoodie, right?
Exactly. Oh man.
You guys so we're gonna pretty sick.
Can we have a Sabode Masamara wildlife shot on the back of one of them, like a lion in a tree with a zebra hanging down, like with the bloody neck or something like that? I'm just kidding. But one of the more tame ones that Sabode does.
I think
No, we can
selfies about it.
we can put some aliens in the back and give it to Jaden.
I'm
Oh
down.
man.
Let's do it.
This is the AMA with Sabode in here is starting to feel more like a Twitter space now. I like it.
Yeah.
So the
I'll turn
AMAs,
it into that.
yeah, they won't be 3 hours anymore. They'll be like 9 hours straight, and at the end we'll just talk about aliens.
We can start that conversation. Jaden likes aliens a lot. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I have to bounce out anyway because the UPS store closes in like an hour. I was supposed to mail out this thing for my girlfriend yesterday, and they didn't. So I always wait this minute. So I gotta box it up and run to the UPS store. So Sabode could log me through DMs.
So yeah, thank you so much. I think it's a good time to close. It's been fun.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, 3, 2, 1. I'm pressing the disconnect button. Love you guys. I'm out. Bye bye.